Randolph along with Dave Rowe at Schaefer Stadium, Foxborough, Massachusetts. Great day for football. The temperature in the mid-50s. And we're ready to go as the New England Patriots. Mike Hubach will kick it off. Baltimore Colts, Nesby Glasgow in the middle back there along with Kim Anderson. Underway at the goal line. It's Nesby Glasgow at the 10, 15, over the 20, out to about the 23-yard line. Making the tackle for the Patriots, Bob Golick, number 51. A look at the offense under Burt Jones. Washington and Franklin in the backfield with him. The wide receivers, the talented Roger Carr, Butler and McCall. Mendenhall, his 110th consecutive game at center. First down from the 23-yard line for the Baltimore Colts. Curtis Dickey, 27, and Cleveland Franklin, 38, in the backfield. In motion, Butler. And it comes to Dickey. Dickey's over the 25, the 30, out to the 35, 36-yard line and a first down. Rolling over the right side. Tim Fox, the safety, made the stop, a pickup of 12 yards on the play for Dickey out of Texas A&M. The defense, Bishop, Hamilton, and Adams, the front three. Hawkins, Nelson, Zamberlin, and Short are the linebackers. And a good secondary here. Claiborne, Hayes, Sanford, and Fox. Now Washington into the lineup for the Colts, number 20, and Dickey comes out. Washington averaging 3.5 per carry. Curtis Dickey averaging 4.5 a carry, and he rambled that first time. Jones to throw here to the near sideline, and he completes it to Joe Washington out of the backfield. The catch made in front of the linebacker, number 59, Mike Hawkins. The gain out to the 44-yard line.
Joe Washington last year, Jay, led the Baltimore Colts in receptions, and he's off to a great start. He's already got 36 catches for the year, and he and Curtis Dickey are just inseparable. The two of them are just about average players as far as equal in ability. They're excellent players, I should say, but they're equal in ability, and they're used very frequently back and forth.
Washington is the Colts' leading rusher and second leading receiver. Second down and 2. Activity at the line of scrimmage. It looked like the nose man, Sugar Bear Hamilton, number 71, jumped across. The officials, Pat Haggerty from Denver, Colorado. The referee, Dave Moss, Walt Peters, Vern Marshall, Jim Poole, Dick Creed, and Bob Lewis. Encroachment. Indication against the New England Patriots, and that'll bring up a first down as they march it off near midfield. Ball moves out to the 49-yard line. We're in the opening moments here. Beautiful autumnal afternoon here in New England. Great day for football. Hope you'll enjoy it wherever you are this afternoon. Here come the Colts, moving left to right in their white. Butler and Carr, the wide receivers. Jones, 187 out of 326 coming into today's game. That's Cleveland Franklin driving over the left side. Inside the 45-yard line, down to the 43. John Zamberlin, the right inside linebacker, 54 on the tackle.
As we watch Cleveland Franklin here, he's a real load coming through there at 6'1", 212 pounds. He's only in his third year. You can see he gets a good block there from Wade Griffin, number 69, and breaks through, picking up the first down. Well, I shouldn't say the first down, but picking up 9 yards, bringing up a great situation for Burt Jones and his talent as a passer.
Yeah, Burt can run it or pass it here, and he's going to put it upstairs. Coming to the near sideline, and that ball should have been caught by Roger Carr. The coverage by Claiborne, but Carr should make that catch.
He certainly should make that, and he has made an awful lot of them this year. Roger Carr is having his best season. That's professional. He's really got everything together, and he's really come off the ball well, and you have to respect that deep speed, and that's why Derek Hatchett was so far off him. Usually Roger doesn't miss that one.
We've got Dickey, 27, and Sims, 39 in the backfield now. New England sends Tony McGee, 78 in. He's their designated pass rusher. Hamilton comes out. Bishop is in there. Golick has replaced Zamberlin. Zamberlin has a pinched nerve. The handoff goes to Dickey. He's in trouble, and he is down back at the 46-yard line. Ray Claiborne, the 4-year veteran from Texas, coming up to undercut him. Give you an end zone view of that last play.
The thing that really made this play go is that Rick Sanford, number 25, came up and forced Dickey to go deep. You can see him up there into the picture. He doesn't make the tackle, but he forces him deep, and that gave the time for the coverage to come up and make the tackle.
It's punting time for Baltimore. Mike Bragg averaging 39.4. Downfield, Roland James, fourth in the AFC with a 9.7 punt return average. Kick angled for the far sideline, and it's going to go into the end zone. Touchback, it'll come to the 20-yard line, and the Patriots will put it in play from there. A 46-yard punt. We're going to take time out. We have 12 and a half minutes to play. We're in the first quarter. No score here at Foxborough. Back here in Foxborough, it'll be Matt Cavanaugh. Cavanaugh getting the start. Grogan had started 77 in a row. Ron Earhart, Fargo, the head man of the Patriots. 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. That's Harold Jackson coming in motion. And off goes to Ferguson. Ferguson moving over the right side, gets it out to the 24-yard line. Barry Krause, number 55, making the stop. Cavanaugh starts at quarterback with Ferguson and Calhoun. Morgan Jackson and the talented Russ Francis. And Wheeler Hanna, Dr. Bill Lenkaitis, Sam Adams, and Shelby Jordan. This would have been, Dave, the 77 start for Grogan, so it's 76 in a row for him up until today. 2nd down and a long 5. Cavanaugh giving it over to Vegas Ferguson. And Ferguson is just short of a 1st down at the 28-yard line. Herb Orvis, 88, making the stop. We isolate on Ed Simonini, the top tackler of the Baltimore Colts.
Ed is just a super player. He's got great mobility. He's often been called too small to play in this league, but you can't measure a man's heart and desire. He's 6'7" when it comes to that. He's very, very active, rarely gets cut off. He's got great lateral movement. Plus, he's a great friend of mine, and I told him I'd mention his name.
You did good. You did good. Double tight end arrangement. Francis and Hasselback are both in. Pete Brock is also in there. 3rd and 1. Getting the call is Calhoun. 1st down at the 32-yard line. Banged his way over the left side. Larry Brazil, number 47, on the tackle. The Colts defense with Cook, Barnes, Orvis, and Ozdowski. They've been letting a lot of people slip through. The tackles by Shiver, Simonini, and Woods have been great. And this secondary has had to make a lot of tackles, Dave.
Their secondary, Jay, is the other Ned Simonini. Their secondary leaders are the 4 men are in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place in a number of tackles on the defense.
1st down for New England. No score with 10 and a half to go in the 1st period. The pitch to the deep back. Vegas Ferguson. Flag goes down as he got over the 35 to the 38-yard line. It was Herb Orvis, 88, who made contact. Holding is the indication from referee Pat Haggerty. And it might have been big Shelby Jordan at right tackle. There is number 67, Bill Lenkaitis.
As I was watching the play, I watched Mike Barnes on that play. Boy, what a great ability he has and agility. He can leap over top of the guys. It was a fullback action play coming in where they pulled the guard, and Mike Barnes was able to entirely leap over top of the fullback.
Holding, number 71, offense.
In fact, there is Mike Barnes. You can see the fullback action here, and very few linemen can do that.
Pat Haggerty said 71, but I think he meant 61, Sam Adams. The penalty marked it back to the 23-yard line. 1st down and 20 for New England. Matt Cavanaugh at the controls of the Patriots. Vegas Ferguson rolling to the right side. They're working on that right side, trying to cut outside. And he gets it near the 30-yard line before Mike Ozdowski, number 71, makes the tackle.
They could be working on the right side because of the condition of Sanders Shiver. He dislocated a bone in his wrist last week, was operated on, and hasn't missed a game. He's right back in there playing with a cast on his arm.
Vegas Ferguson, 9th in the AFC rushing race with 486 yards coming into today's game and a 3.5 average. He's complemented by Calhoun, who has 473 yards. 2nd down and 13. He's at the 40, 42-yard line. Close to a first down. Ed Simonini, the linebacker, number 56, made the play. Matt Cavanaugh, number 2 draft choice out of Pittsburgh. They have much more confidence in him now.
He's a very confident individual. As we talked earlier before the game, he was very confident about his play. He doesn't feel his role as a backup. He feels like he's an equal to Steve Grogan, and the Patriots have shown it today.
Yes, for those of you who saw NFL 80 today, you talked with young Cavanaugh, and a very interesting interview with him along with Steve Grogan. There's Ron Earhart, the head man of the New England Patriots. Mike McCormick, the 50-year-old head coach of the Baltimore Colts. The New England Patriots 80% third down efficiency versus the Colts in the game earlier this year that New England won down in Baltimore. It was a kickoff return by Ivory that really broke that ball game open. 3rd and inches. Quarterback sneak, I don't know. It'll depend. The ball came loose in there, and they're still going for the ball. Hasselback, number 80, came away with the ball, and there was a lot of shoving. The ball obviously remains in possession of New England, but we're going to have another measurement.
I really disagree with that play. When you've got a 235-pound fullback in there and you've got John Hanna out in front, you should be running that fullback. But I'll tell you, Herb Orvis and their defensive line really came off the ball that time.
There is Cavanaugh. And it is a 4th down coming. Didn't make it. And they're going to punt. Hubach averaging 38.6.
Nesby Glasgow and Kim Anderson.
There are the stats on Hubach. Nesby Glasgow, number 25 on the left, and Anderson 26 on the right, ready to receive the punt.
Well, when you're a defensive player and you stop a team like the New England Patriots like that, what a feather in your cap when you come to the sideline. Everyone's excited, and the Baltimore Colts certainly had a great series that time on defense.
A line drive spiral. Glasgow back at the 10, at the 15, the 20, and out to the 24-yard line. Nesby Glasgow, tackle made by Don Hasselback. Steve King also in there on the play. A 48-yard punt, a 4-yard return. There is a penalty marker down, back at the 42-yard line downfield.
This flag is in the position of an ineligible man downfield. Now, whether you take that or not, it's really a big decision because it wasn't a great punt.
Ineligible man, downfield, number 62 on the offense. Decline, first down.
Call went against Dwight Wheeler. Boy, so often we see that call made. We've got a timeout. 8:18 remaining. First quarter, Baltimore, New England. No score. Back with more in a moment.
This is Brian Gumble in New York. At Rich Stadium in Buffalo, the Steelers have moved ahead of the Bills. Joe Ferguson, operating deep in his own end, is picked off by linebacker Robin Cole. Cole takes it 34 yards before he's brought down at the 3 by Ferguson. One play later, from 2 yards out, Franco Harris goes in, and with the point after, the Steelers have moved ahead of the Buffalo Bills by a score of 7-0. Still in the first quarter. Let's go back to Foxborough and Jay Randolph.
All right, and back here. Baltimore, New England, no score, and the Colts first down at their own 24-yard line. Jones gives to Curtis Dickey. Dickey out to the 29-yard line. Dick Bishop, number 64, the left end, making the tackle.
What a block by Robert Pratt as he come out there, number 61, leading the play. He's got great speed. He's probably one of the most underrated guards in the National Football League. He doesn't get a lot of notoriety because the Colts haven't been successful in the win-loss record, but he is by far one of the best guards I've played against in my career.
You're not just plugging him because he went to school at North Carolina and you live down there now, huh?
No, beautiful Carolina, that's true.
At the top of the screen, Roger Carr. Second down and 5. And the give to the back Franklin, he's to the 32-yard line, short of the first down. Steve Nelson, the left inside linebacker, number 57, banged him in there. Franklin went to school at Baylor, 2 touchdowns. There's that defensive unit of the New England Patriots. They played very well against Los Angeles here last week, but saw their offense sputter a little bit. There's Nelson.
There's quite a fellow right there, number 57, Steve Nelson. He leads the team in tackles, and there's nobody within a mile of him as far as total tackles. Very, very active, a lot like Ed Simonini.
3rd down and 2. And too much time. That'll turn a coach's hair gray when you get a call like that, 3rd and 2. Just recycled that clock. It was down to 0.
Now they set those clocks.
Delay of game, offense.
They set those clocks in the end zone so that the quarterback would have a better idea, but there was a substitution problem there and took Burt Jones a little bit more time to get to the line.
The Patriots send in Tony McGee and the extra back, the nickel, Roland James. 3rd down and 7 now from the 27. Brian DeRue is in the game. Don McCauley in there also for Baltimore. Blitz! Oh, you can see it coming from the right side. Rick Sanford, the safety blitz, and he banged Jones down.
Burt Jones never saw Rick Sanford coming from the weak side. And you could really tell from the shock that Burt Jones took. But Burt's a very strong quarterback, but he really got shocked on this. You can see it as he comes off the line. Burt's setting up there. He never sees Rick Sanford from his backside. And watch that pop there. It's a wonder he didn't lose the ball.
Jones got up and congratulated Sanford for making the play.
I'd have congratulated Jones for getting up.
That's right. Mike Bragg to punt. That is Roland James and Mike Haynes downfield. A line of scrimmage now all the way back to the 18. A high spiral. Good hang time here. That's Haynes at the 45 and hit immediately. Leading the way was Brian DeRue. 40-yard punt, 6:09 to play. First period here in Foxborough. The Colts in New England still scoreless.
Here's another look at that safety blitz by Rick Sanford. He really came in and hit Burt Jones. Burt has had a lot of problems in the past with shoulder injuries, but worked really hard in the offseason to build up his body so they could sustain shots like that, Jay.
Sanford sitting it out now as it's 1st and 10 from the 45. Kavanaugh throws complete at the 43-yard line to Stanley Morgan. Morgan's 33rd catch of the season. Pittsburgh leading Buffalo 7-0 on a Franco Harris 2-yard run, 11-17 to the first quarter. Chicago 7-0 over Atlanta. Walter Payton got it in, and it is Tampa Bay 3-0 over Detroit. Garo Yepremian, a 24-yard field goal. There's Grogan. After 76 in a row, sitting it out today. His knees just bothering him too much. First down at the 43-yard line after the completion to Morgan. Kavanaugh gives off to Vegas Ferguson. Ferguson outside at the 40, 35, 30. Hooked out of bounds as he got all the way to the 25-yard line. The former Notre Dame star rambling over the right side. A pickup of 18. Nesby Glasgow and Bruce Laird, 25 and 40, made the play.
As we've said all along, the secondary makes the tackles if Ed Simonini doesn't. You can see Simonini coming up, trying to come up inside. And he gets cut off. He doesn't make the tackle, and Vegas Ferguson is out in the secondary here. He really reminds me a lot of Gale Sayers. I know that's putting him in quite a class, but he's got that stride, and I happen to be fortunate enough to play against Gale Sayers, and I really get a real tribute to him.
Shelby Jordan did quite a job on that last play. Here is Calhoun, and the fans go Hoon as he moves forward to the 20-yard line. Mike Woods, 59, the right linebacker, jarred him down at that point. Actually, they placed the ball inside the 20. It's going to bring up second down and about 4. We have 5 minutes to go. We're in the first quarter. No score. Patriots now with 3 first downs. The Colts have 2. And the Patriots Put the wide receivers on the left side, Morgan and Jackson. Matt Cavanaugh starting at quarterback, giving it off to Ferguson. Ferguson gets about 2 near the 17-yard line, and there is Ed Simonetti to make the play, number 56.
It's a real tough decision for a middle linebacker like Ed Simonetti. He's got great lateral speed, and that's the thing that really makes up for his so-called lack of size. That time he decided again to come up underneath. You can either run by the pile and try to go around to make the tackle, or you can come up underneath and try to make the tackle. And Ed's got the speed to be able to do that.
Vegas Ferguson, 23-year-old rookie, 35 yards on 5 carries. 3rd down and 3. Little delay to Calhoun. First down at the 12-yard line. Mike Woods, 59. Good call.
Excellent play selection on that. Everyone was expecting the pass, and you could see the Colts really took off on the ball. And, of course, the draw play is perfect when you're going on a pass situation.
At the 11-yard line, first down and 10.
It's a first down as Calhoun took it down there.
Matt Cavanaugh, you can see the defensive line really coming off there. Herb Orvis and Mike Ostowski, and Calhoun's got a pretty good hole right there. Mike Woods gave him a good shot, too, but he really came off the ball. Vegas Ferguson is really playing football today.
And here's Ferguson down to the 10-yard line. He did a nice job of blocking for Calhoun on that last play, and this time it's Mike Woods, 59 again, the right linebacker, who makes the stop on Ferguson. Ferguson has been a key factor, certainly, an outstanding rookie. I would guess that Ferguson, along with Joe Cribbs at Buffalo, are 2 of the outstanding rookies that we have seen in this 1980 NFL season.
Well, with the loss of Sam Cunningham this year as a holdout, I don't think they had the expectations that Vegas Ferguson would fill in as well as he has.
2nd down and 9. Ferguson cuts it in, bangs his way near the 7-yard line. Got across the 8. Herb Orvis, number 88, wrapped him up.
If he had handed that ball off on that fake reverse to Harold Jackson, he would have still been running because everyone was pursuing to the play.
Into the lineup now, Chuck Foreman, number 22, and Andy Johnson, number 32, for the New England Patriots. There's Foreman, the great veteran. Played his college ball at Miami. Still catch a pass for you in an important situation, and this is it. 3rd down and 6. Extra defensive back is in for Baltimore. The throw coming, complete. Foreman down at the 3-yard line. Play made by Larry Brazil, the right cornerback. Foreman thought maybe he should have got in there. He couldn't quite turn it in.
When they came off that play, they ran a man in motion back to the weak zone. You can see Foreman coming across here. Matt Cavanaugh never looks to the strong side. He looks to the zone where they flooded. They ran him deep, cut him back offside, and Foreman was wide open. But it was a real good hit there by Larry Brazil also.
It really was, and a measurement coming up. Foreman, the 8-year man. The measurement, and they are short about 6 inches. The fans here yelling, go, 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 but it's early. I'm wondering, I think they're just going to get some points. Let's see. No, they're going with a double tight end arrangement. This is a big ball game, and they want to get a touch here.
It's a very, very big ball game, as we said, Jay. This position is really not that bad this early in the game to go for this, because if they have to give it up, they're going to give it up on the 2-yard line, and Baltimore will be in deep trouble, as far as driving out.
It's 4th, about 6 to 8 inches. Hasselbeck, the extra tight end, comes in along with Pete Brock. And I think they might go over Hog Hanna, huh?
That's where they usually go. John Hanna, number 73, has been every year. Everybody's all pro.
All right, 4th and inches. The handoff goes to Calhoun. Looks like he's got it. They ran right.
They certainly did. And there has been a great tendency to run over John Hanna, and that time they ran away from John Hanna.
Calhoun, who played at Kansas State, 10th in the AFC rushing race.
At least it wasn't a quarterback sneak.
You got your point across. A minute 22 to play, first quarter. And here come the chains. Ron Earhart looking out. He was a quarterback at little Jamestown College in North Dakota, never played professional football, and it's a first down, just as a first down. The ball at the 2-yard line. First and goal to go for the New England Patriots. There's Mike McCormick, born in Chicago, the 7th head coach in the history of the Colts. Used to coach the Philadelphia Eagles. Here come the Patriots. Again, Francis and Hasselbeck and Brock are up front to beef it up. That was Brock moving off to the right wing. And the handoff going to Calhoun. Touchdown, New England! And they come to their feet here in Patriot country.
They certainly are attacking the strong side here. As we watch Ron Earhart's reaction up in the top, you can see he's excited. But Don Calhoun, they've been attacking that side there considerably over Fred Cook and where Sanders Shivers plays.
Nice block by Vegas Ferguson. 7th touchdown of the season for Don Calhoun. The point after, John Smith, number 1 from Southampton, England. Matt Cavanaugh holds. The kick is up, and it is good. 56 seconds remaining in the first period. New England is on the board. Timeout here. The Patriots 7, the Baltimore Colts nothing. Hubach upper right, Nesby Glasgow upper left, ready to receive. The field below. Good looking shot from our director, Andy Rosenberg. Up the line at the 20, 25. The 30, 35-yard line. Anderson all the way out to the 41-yard line. A fine return by Kim Anderson of 36 yards. He'd been averaging 18.4. Bill Courier, 28 on the tackle. So pretty good position for Baltimore to operate, down 7-0.
Baltimore really works an awful lot on their special teams. George Boutselis, who's their special teams coach, puts a lot of time in, and they're very, very proud of that unit. And it was evidence there anytime you get out the ball out to the 40-yard line, you're doing something.
Cleveland Franklin, 38. Curtis Dickey, 27. In the backfield for the Colts. Play action fake. Jones throws. Caught. A tip ball caught by Roger Carr. It looked like it was tipped by Mike Hawkins. The tackle made by Ray Claiborne. A tipped catch for Carr.
Well, we saw a couple games ago with the Houston where this same thing happened to the Houston Oilers versus the New England Patriots. You can see here Jones has got good protection, and the ball was really tipped, and Roger Carr was just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Roger Carr making the catch, first down at the 43-yard line. Pitch back to Dickey. Dickey cuts it in at the 30, still going right along the 30-yard line. Mike Haynes made the stop. Nice running by Dickey coming back against the grain. He picked up 12 yards. That's the end of the first quarter. And here in Foxborough, Massachusetts, 7-0 New England. Jay Randolph and Dave Rowe with you here in Foxborough, 7-0 New England.
We really have a ball game today here, Jay, and everyone realizes the importance of it.
Yes, sir, it's a big ball game, and we go back down to the field, get ready for the second period of action. Baltimore, 1st and 10 from their own 29-yard line, or from the Patriot 29. There's a little delay going to Curtis Dickey, and Dickey fights his way down to the 22-yard line. Rod Schoch, 56, making the tackle. 7-7 now in the first quarter. Pittsburgh and Buffalo tied up.
It'll be second down and 3.
Cincinnati's jumped on top of Cleveland 7-0 in the first quarter.
You know, Jay, Curtis Dickey is reputed to be the fastest man ever to play the game of football in the National Football League. And that's really saying something to some of the speedsters that we've seen over the years.
He's got a 4.5-yard average coming into today. Tops for the Colts running backs. Dickey is bowled under that time. Rod Schote, the right outside linebacker, 56, who really is having his best year, made an outstanding play there. There's Rod Schote, played at Oklahoma. Oklahoma upsetting Nebraska yesterday. If they can beat Oklahoma State, they'll be in the Orange Bowl, and you'll see it on NBC.
Well, Kenny Mendenhall and Rod Schote could talk a little bit about that because Kenny went to Oklahoma.
Schote, who's had some shoulder problems, comes out now, and Steve King is in there. 3rd and 2. Dickey. And I think he's got the first down. Rolling over the left side, John Zamberlin, 54, the linebacker, and noseman Ray Hamilton, 71, making the tackle. A look here at the first quarter statistics.
Well, we see that the total yardage is fairly close. The Patriots have not used the pass very much. Of course, they're going with Matt Cavanaugh, and perhaps he doesn't have the timing that Steve Grogan does. But really, it's an even game so far. One good break, and we can be right back in here with a 7-7 game. And everyone knows the importance of this game. This is up for the marbles.
New England drove 55 yards in 10 plays to score. Calhoun going in from 2. Jones has time over the middle. Intercepted. Steve Nelson, his 3rd interception of the season. What a big play as he cut in front of Joe Washington. The interception thwarts the Colts drive. We'll be back with more from Foxborough right after these messages. Dave, there's a lot of real estate down there to be traversed. The big play on the interception, but the Patriots start from their 6-yard line.
It's a tough position to come out on your own 6-yard line with a new quarterback who's taking charge of a team.
Cavanaugh, quarterback, and with the football, Vegas Ferguson. And he didn't get much. I want to remind you that the Thanksgiving edition of NFL 80 will be coming your way Thanksgiving Day. A feature on Efren Herrera. Thanksgiving Day Classics. Bryant Gumbel will bring you up to date. We've got a feature on the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. Is rather eye-catching for you. Cowboys battle the Seahawks. It's all Thursday starting at 3:30 Eastern Time here on NBC. Horace Ivory, number 23, in the backfield now with Don Calhoun. Calhoun getting out to the 10, to the 13-yard line. Bruce Laird, the strong safety, coming over to make a fine tackle. Laird, who was born right in Lowell, Massachusetts, went to American International.
Bruce Laird's having one of his best years that he's ever had, number 40, as we watch him walk around here. He's a tremendous player. He gets a lot of lateral movement here. He's pursuing the ball all the way. And you can see the distance he had to run. Actually, there was a missed tackle on the line. I hate to say it was my son, Mike Ostowski, missed the tackle on the line. But they used to always kid me when I played at Baltimore that Mike Ostowski was my son because he looked so young compared to me.
11 and a half to play in the first half. 7-0 the Patriots. 3rd down and 2 from their 14-yard line. Horace Ivory is in trouble, and down he goes. It was Ed Simonetti, the middle linebacker, along with number 88, Herb Orvis, who made that play.
Ed Simonetti, again, I just can't talk enough about that guy. He plays like he's 6'6", and he's a real close personal friend, and I've got a tremendous amount of admiration for him. That time as the guard pulled, Ed saw the guard pull and shot up through the guard hole and got the man in the backfield. Very, very active.
Hubach will punt from his own end zone. Might be a good opportunity to try to block. Nesby Glasgow is downfield. The kick is away, a wobbly short kick. Fair catch was called for. They're going to let it bounce, and it gets a good roll down at the 48-yard line of the Colts, where Baltimore will put it in play.
One thing about that drive that was...
All right, we'll talk about that. 7-0 New England after the 44-yard punt. Back with more in a moment. Dave, you wanted to make a point before we went away to commercial.
I certainly feel the Baltimore Colts feeling is that they can move the ball on the New England Patriots. They've done it, and even though that interception was a real mistake and it really hurt them, they feel confident that they can move the ball against this Patriot defense.
Dickey gets just about a yard rolling to the right. Ray Claiborne did a good job over there.
Gain of a yard, 2nd down and 9 at the 40.
Take a look at some scores with you. The Jets leading Houston 14-0. Richard Todd has just scored in that game, and they're still in the first period. Cleveland and Cincinnati 7-7. Brian Sipe to Reggie Rucker, a 16-yard pass moments ago to tie it up. Chicago 10-0 over Atlanta. Bob Thomas has kicked a 41-yard field goal, and Tampa Bay, Doug Williams to Gordon Jones on a 36-yard pass, now leading 10-0 over Detroit. It's 2nd down and 9 at the 49 for the Colts. Jones going upstairs. Penalty marker goes down. He was hit just as he got rid of the ball, and it fell right in the middle of the seam down at the 40-yard line. Nobody around. Mike Hawkins was coming in there. Jones taking a good shot. There's Hawkins out of Texas A&I. He was cut in 78 and then re-signed.
Burt Jones saw that all the way. I hate to see him walk off the football field here, but he saw it all the way, and he tried to get the pass off rather than take the sack, and he was able to get it off, but I don't know how severely he was hurt as we watched Greg Landry there warm up on the sideline.
We had a penalty marker thrown. Let's listen.
Number 80, illegal in motion. Offense, decline.
Ray Butler was in motion. It's declined. Here he comes into the game, Greg Landry. Greg, of course, played at Massachusetts.
Very, very favorite son here in New England. Very, very well-liked, popular player.
BC and Massachusetts had quite a game yesterday, wasn't it? 13-12. BC won it. And it went right to the wire.
Number 11, Greg Landry, in at quarterback for Baltimore.
Joe Washington and Don McCauley are in the backfield with the 13-year veteran, Greg Landry. Down he goes. Tony McGee, number 78. Dick Bishop, number 64. And they like it here in New England.
Well, he certainly wasn't bashful right off the first play. Dropped back to pass it. I hate to see Burt Jones on the sideline. He's had a terrible series of injuries. Unfortunately, as we understand, it's not a severe injury.
Oh, the word we get is that Jones will probably be back in the lineup. But here we are with Kavanaugh and Landry at quarterback all of a sudden.
Certainly not what we expected, Jay. But you know, when a quarterback throws the ball in that position, that's the most dangerous position for him to be in. I remember several years ago when Greg Cook from Cincinnati was hurt that way.
James ready to receive this punt from Mike Bragg. And a boomer from the toe of Bragg. They're looking up into the sun. That's Haynes back there. He takes it at the 20, 25, 30, out to the 35, 37-yard line. Haynes averaging 7.7 per carry on punts. Brian DeRue was right there to make the tackle. 41-yard punt, an 18-yard return. 7-0 New England over Baltimore. Here's the story of this game. Grogan out on the left, Burt Jones out. But we're told that he'll probably be back. His coach, Mike McCormick, discussing things there with the team position.
Well, I certainly didn't like to see Burt Jones bending over because the last 2 seasons he's had a severe shoulder problem, and I know how hard he worked this season to get in shape to play this year.
1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. Calhoun 44 and Ivory 23. Kavanaugh gets it away, and it is complete. Jackson is all the way down to the 32-yard line. A very cool throw from Kavanaugh. Larry Brazil on the coverage ran the receiver out of bounds. 31-yard pass.
Matt Kavanaugh really stayed cool in his position as he drops back. He feels the pressure coming at him, and just as he lets go of the ball, you can see him coming into your screen on the right. He's hit and disturbed, but the ball was out there. Fred Cook was right in his face, also number 72, but Harold Jackson was wide open. Larry Brazil, that's a tough tackle to make in wide open field against Harold Jackson with his speed.
They got behind the linebacker, Mike Woods. 7-0 Patriots. 1st down at the 31-yard line. Kavanaugh trying to beat it into the crowd, and Bruce Laird comes away. Laird, his 5th interception of the season. And a penalty marker down. Well, there's a case where the youngster shouldn't have let go. He tried to force it out there to Francis between 2 defenders.
He certainly did. As he threw the ball, he didn't zip it in there either. He tried to just almost push it into Russ Francis. He really didn't fire it in there, and Bruce Laird was able to recover. You can see the ball's not really coming with speed, and he was thrown in double zone there, and Bruce Laird come across, and you know he's excited about that.
16th career interception for Bruce Laird. And the penalty. The ball being marked back to the 22. Let's listen in.
Clipping, number 59 on the return. First down.
A clipping penalty against number 59. And that would be Mike Woods. Oh, the ball goes back to the 22.
Whenever there's an interception, everybody wants to get a block because you want to really look good on the films and on that following Monday.
Handoff going to Marvin Sims, who is now in the lineup. Sims is the big rookie from Clemson, a powerful young man who's rushed for 109 yards and a 3.5 average. Ray Hamilton and Steve Nelson on the tackle. Hamilton 71, Nelson 57. 8 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the first half. Here in Foxborough, Massachusetts, this is Jay Randolph along with Dave Rowe. The Patriots leading 7-0.
Certainly it's nice seeing Greg Landry back there playing. He gives a lot of inspiration for us older players. He's had 13 years of football, and he's really been a real tribute to the game.
Coming to the near sideline, Curtis Dickey dumped. Making the play was Julius Adams, who kind of undercut him, number 85.
From the 25.
Into the game, number 71. Ray Hamilton returning now, and they've got Hamilton, McGee, Bishop, and Adams up front. It's going to be 3rd down and 7 from the 25-yard line. See if they're coming at Greg Landry, who's doing the quarterbacking now. Landry throws, and it is complete to Joe Washington, but I don't think he quite got the first down. It's close. Rod Schote, 56. Now they place the ball down, and he might have gotten the first down out there with forward progress.
I believe it's going to be a little bit short because I see the punting team coming on.
Well, they're not even going to measure. Mike Bragg, the 13-year veteran from Richmond. Chicago now 10-7 over Atlanta in the second quarter. And Detroit is on the board. Williams, an 11-yard touchdown. 5:56 left in the second period. 10-7 Tampa Bay. Number 38, Roland James, set to receive this punt. 6:20 to go in the first half. The Patriots lead Baltimore 7-0. He hung it high at the 25, James, and downfield very quickly to make the play for the Baltimore Colts. Number 87, Brian DeRue. What a job he has done on the specialty units. A 43-yard punt, 6:07 to play in the half. New England 7, Baltimore 0. New England has it. They lead 7-0, operating from their own 25-yard line. The quarterback is Matt Cavanaugh. Out it goes. A sideline screen to Stanley Morgan. Morgan up the sideline, tripped at the last second over there. Looked like he might go all the way. Nesby Glasgow saved the touchdown. Stanley Morgan was rolling a 42-yard pass into the left flat.
Well, again, this is just a slip pass. You can watch John Hanna as he comes out and sticks Herb Orvis here. John is, of course, the model of what a professional football guard should be. You see the slip pass to Stanley Morgan there, and boy, with the speed he's got, he can really turn it on. John Hanna turns back to block because he knows he can't keep up with Stanley Morgan as far as speed.
Nesby Glasgow made the play on Stanley Morgan. Hog Hanna, he can do it.
He is probably the picture perfectness of a guard.
Cavanaugh's 4 out of 5 for 97 yards. That's Calhoun banging down to the 31-yard line. Barry Krause, number 55, making the tackle. 5 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the second quarter. If you're just joining us, A 55-yard drive by the Patriots. Calhoun going in from 2 yards out. Late in the first period, the only scoring. Kavanaugh going long down the sideline for Jackson. And he made the catch, but he was out of bounds.
One of the hardest passes to defend. That little loft pass where the defensive secondary is running along. Harold Jackson's looking back at the ball. And, of course, the defensive man can't take the time to turn around and look for that ball because when he does, it's right there. Fortunately, he was out of bounds.
And the defensive man was the rookie, Derek Hatchett, out of Texas, the #1 draft choice.
They certainly have high promise for him.
Calhoun coming out. Chuck Foreman is coming in. Third down success on conversions, 3 out of 5 for New England. It's 3rd and 7 at the 31-yard line. We've got Carlos Pennywell, number 88, in there. He is set at the top of your screen. Stanley Morgan, they're in the shotgun. 5 defensive backs for Baltimore. Offense against defense. Kavanaugh in trouble. Didn't go down yet. He went down on his hand, but here he comes at the 30. And out of bounds. Oh, they're loving it here. He's putting on quite a show for them. Getting the start in front of the injured Brogan.
That's a very technical call, whether he was down or not, because they are trying to protect the quarterback. You can see as he runs up here, Fred Cook has got a hand on him, and he does go down.
But his knee didn't touch.
I don't know. I'd have to see that back again.
He put his hand down, but his knee did not touch. Maybe we can see that when he spun out of there again, but I don't believe the knee touched. And, of course, once he breaks out of there, that quarterback protection rule goes down the drain, Dave.
Yes, but if he is in the grasp of a defensive player, he is supposedly down. And
Horace Ivory got down to the 20-yard line. Sanders Shiver, the left linebacker, number 54, making the tackle. Well, here's that exciting play again. Moments ago, Matt Kavanaugh.
Of course, it's a judgment call right here, but he does not go down. All right, you win, Jay. That's why you've been here for 25 years, and I'm in my rookie year.
Well, now, it hasn't been quite 25, but...
You started young.
I was a child prodigy, you know, yes. 2nd down and 7. Ball at the 20-yard line. The Patriots leading 7-0. 4:25 to go. First half. Kavanaugh. Lots of time. Now he's in trouble. Steps through again. And throws complete on the far sideline. Horace Ivory high into the air to make the catch in front of the linebacker, Barry Krause.
The Baltimore Colts are really getting excellent pressure on him, but they're not able to contain him. This is what has been so successful for Steve Grogan over the years, has he's been the mobility, which he does not have right now. You can see Kavanaugh is back there. His knees are in excellent shape. Mike Gosdowski, 71, and Mike Barnes are there. You can look at the movement that he has there. That kills your secondary also because they just can't continue to cover the speed of the New England Patriots. It's really hard for them.
It's a first down at the 12-yard line. There's the offensive stat for the Patriots. They can put some points on the board. Jackson in motion. Horace Ivory, penalty marker down. Ivory at the 10, down to the 9, may have gotten to the 8. Ball squirted out of there, but the play had been blown dead. Simonini 56, Shivers 54 on the play.
As I watch that force by Bruce Laird, I see he's down on the ground. The trainer's coming out. He's moving around, so it looks like he might be all right, but he really came up and took a shot. They had backer force on that time, or I should say safety force, with a safety man. Bruce Laird, number 40, comes up to try and force the play inside. You can see Laird inside of our picture here come up, and he's taking on Sam Adams right there, who is a big offensive guard.
And crunched him, didn't he?
Evidently he was hurt, but Bruce did his job right there, as he's got to force that play inside. And he really took a shot.
John Lopez is the Colts trainer, and the medical crew attending out there. 4:05 remaining to be played as we take a look at Mike McCormick. 25 years of NFL experience as a player and coach. We're going to take a timeout here. 4:05 left in the first half. Patriots 7. Baltimore nothing. Bruce Laird went off under his own power, being attended to. He's hurting a little bit. We got some word on Cleveland Franklin. He was shaken up earlier, but we're told that he'll probably be back in the game for the Colts. But here are the Patriots, first down. And it's 1st and 15. Cavanaugh on the run again. Throwing back against the green. And incomplete at the last second, number 54. Sanders Shiver came across to bat that ball away. Pass intended for Jackson. Let's pause briefly now for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
WBAL-TV, Channel 11, your Colts station in Baltimore.
Cavanaugh's completed 5 of 8, 107 yards. There's the score. Bruce Laird is back in the lineup at strong safety. The local boy from Lowell. 3:57 to go in this half. Patriots leading 7-0. Second down, Cavanaugh to throw. Got it away, and it is incomplete. He was hit as he got that pass away, and he took quite a shot back here. Barry Krause came in and really racked Cavanaugh. Jackson was the intended receiver.
Barry Krause, number 55 from Alabama in his second year, really makes a great move here. Gets around his man. You can see him coming from the right side free. Cavanaugh gets hit here, and I'll tell you, this could have been defensive interference there. It was fortunate that it was not.
Krause had his best game last week in Detroit, recording 10 tackles, and he's playing hard here again today. 5 defensive backs in for the Colts. 3:51 to go in the half. 3rd down and 15. Andy Johnson 32, Foreman 22. They're in the shotgun again. Penalty marker goes down. Looks like New England was in motion. Here goes Cavanaugh. He's got it in, but I think they'll bring it back. He got it in, but my guess is that they'll overrule it. A procedure call is going to go against New England.
It looked as if there was illegal motion on the Patriots on that play. Anytime you go to a new set, such as the shotgun that the Patriots have not used before, you can have problems, and that's what they did that time.
Ron Arrett is saying, boy, that kid can run.
He certainly can, but he has another runner in the past that's run just like that, Steve Grogan. We sure hope that his future will be a lot better off in the future because of this rest.
Illegal motion, number 61, offense.
Call went against Sam Adams, number 61, for illegal procedure. There's the movement on the left of the screen, and it overruled the play as Cavanaugh romped in. So now it is 3rd down and 20 out at the 21-yard line. Again, it's the shotgun. The throw in the middle. It's complete to Russ Francis, the tight end, short of a first down at the 5-yard line. And it was Bruce Laird on the tackle, number 40. Oh, Laird is, look at him. He's really involved in this one.
Chuck Foreman, number 22, really took a shot on that play. He was back there protecting for Matt Cavanaugh, and he really took a shot from a linebacker coming in there.
Smith will attempt a field goal. He's not missed a field goal of 29 yards or less this season. The ball is going to be spotted out at the 13, a 23-yard attempt. Smith 9 for 9 inside the 30-yard line. Matt Cavanaugh will hold. It is up, and it is good. 2 minutes and 51 seconds remaining to be played at the first half. $10-0, New England. Want to remind you, next Saturday on NBC, Sports World comes your way at 4 Eastern Time. Some of America's best gymnasts, including Tracy Talavera, Marcia Frederick, and Julianne McNamara, compete. The United States-China Gymnastics Competition, and some of our nation's strongest men gather for the U.S. Powerlifting Championship. Plus the final round action of the Legends of Bowling. That's all next Saturday on NBC's Sports World. There of the Patriot cheerleaders, and there is Bert Jones. Looks like he's ready to come back in. He's shaking that wrist a little bit, like that's where the problem is. They were working on it, and he's talking things over with head coach Mike McCormick. Hubach will put it in play. The Colts will have 2:51 in which to operate. Nesby Glasgow. And back with Nesby is Kim Anderson. They're set to receive this kickoff from Hubach. And it's going to be a short kick taken at the 15-yard line by Anderson. 25, 30, 35, 40, 45-yard line. And the Colts have time. 2 minutes, 41 seconds left to go. A 30-yard return. Hubach, the man who kicked off, made the tackle. Good block that time by Glasgow, helping out Kim Anderson.
Again, we see Greg Landry, number 11, coming in here, and 13 years experience. He knows what to do with the ball in a 2-minute offense, which they're in right now.
I guess Jones and McCormick talked it over, and Jones is going to sit it out for a while. The Colts have 3 timeouts remaining. Start from their own 45 here. Over the middle. Oh! The pass was too high, and Reese McCall almost made a circus catch. He was in the clear, in the seam down the middle. Rick Sanford, the safety man, was back there, but he should have made the catch if the ball had been thrown a little better.
Well, I think Greg bumped into the running back there and messed up his time, but actually Reese McCall was so wide open right here. He's got great extension. He's about 6'7". Boy, he can really get up after the ball. Great size and speed.
That was Landry's second throw. He completed one pass earlier for 6 yards, so it'll be 2nd and 10. The Colts at their own 49. Dickey's the leading rusher for the Colts, 43 yards on 9 carries. Landry, and incomplete. Dickey at the 50-yard line on the run over the middle. A tough catch, but again, a catch he should have made.
Well, Greg looks like he's going to be sharp today. He was right on the money with that ball, just maybe a little bit far out in front of him, but not very much. But I would love to have seen Curtis Dickey with that ball at the speed he has in the secondary here.
Yeah, if he makes this catch, he might have really turned it into something.
There you see the 2 steps he has on his.
Should have made that catch.
Yes, he certainly should have.
There's Bert Jones. 3rd down conversion success has not been very good for the Colts. They've converted once in 5 tries, and here they are again, 3rd and 10. Landry throwing, complete, but not enough for the first down. Joe Washington out of the backfield to the 48-yard line. Mike Hawkins, the left outside linebacker, number 59, on the tackle.
Greg that time didn't get a lot of time to set up. He had a lot of pressure from Richard Bishop over on the strong side. Consequently, that pass didn't allow Joe Washington to get far enough downfield to get the first down.
Well, we're coming down to the 2-minute warning as Bragg has come on. And we have the 2-minute warning to both benches here in Foxborough. New England leads it 10-0. Back with more action right after this. Well, as you look at the 2 head coaches, we'll tell you the preceding announcement is furnished by the National Football League. Ron Earhart and Mike McCormick, the head men of the Patriots and the Colts. New England 7-4. The Colts 6-5. A big battle, and of course, at Buffalo-Pittsburgh action of great interest here today. Bragg, 4 punts, 42.5 average so far this afternoon. There's Roland James set to bring it back. James is not going to have any of it. And into the end zone it goes, a 48-yard punt. Now we've got an interesting statistic right here. Look at this. At Baltimore and at Foxborough since 75. Split, right down the way.
Right.
And if things hold true, well, the Colts should win this game. But, you know, records are made to be broken.
It's very true, but it does show the intenseness of the rivalry between the 2 clubs.
The Colts have won 11. New England has won 10. This is the 22nd meeting between these 2 teams in a series that goes back to 1970. Cavanaugh, quarterback for Grogan. Cavanaugh rolling out now on the run up the sideline, and he couldn't get it to Stanley Morgan. Morgan was double teamed up there, but almost got behind Larry Brazil. Pretty good pressure put on by Herb Orbis, but you have to be impressed with the cool and clever Kavanaugh.
He certainly is. And, of course, there we go again with his mobility. Mike Barnes, that time, the newsboy, as he's affectionately called on the team. I don't know why.
Maybe he once sold papers. You never know.
He does about everything else on defense. He really got some good pressure. He's, as we said earlier, he's got great mobility, and he got in there and pressured Kavanaugh. But Kavanaugh is able to move around in there. They're not seeming to contain him very well.
A minute 44 to go in the half. Second down and 10 from the 20. A little draw play to Calhoun. Out over the 27. Mike Ozdowski, 71. Herb Orbis, 88. Stalled him at that point. Clock running now with a minute and 25 to go in this first half. The Patriots are leading 10-0. 23-yard field goal by John Smith. 2-yard touchdown run by Calhoun, his 7th TD of the year. Joe Ehrman, 76, in the lineup now for the Colts as the handoff went to Calhoun.
I watched Joe Ehrman on that play, and he really came off the ball. He is a real competitor. He's been through an awful lot over a couple of years, but
they got the first down, Dave.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, I'd put Joe Ehrman on my team anytime. He's a great competitor, as I said, a tremendous athlete, great strength, and as I said, he's been through an awful lot over the last couple of years.
Clock is running now with 40 seconds left. Calhoun has 36 yards on 9 carries. Kavanaugh goes down at the 22-yard line. Greg Fields, the second-year man from Grambling, number 79, in under there to make the play. 33 seconds left now as the clock is stopped. And now they roll it again. We're down to 30 seconds.
I think both teams right here are just content to go in with a 10-0. The Patriots are content to go in with 10-0. And, of course, the Baltimore Colts feel that they can move the ball and they can score. And they showed that they have been able to move the ball.
Carlos Pennywell is in as a wide receiver, number 88. The give goes to Horace Ivory, and Ivory gets to about the 25-yard line. Banged down by number 54, Sanders Shiver, and Mike Barnes, number 63. And that's the end of the first half. Kavanaugh, who got the start. There's Burt Jones, who started but was injured, and Greg Landry took over. Well, the quarterbacks have been much of the story. There's Grogan. The end of the first half and the score. The Patriots 10, the Colts nothing. Halftime here in New England, and the Patriots lead it 10-0. Jay Randolph along with the big man we call Dave. And what did you think of this first half?
I thought it was a whale of a first half, Jay. I think that Baltimore proved that they can move the ball up and down the field, and I think that New England, they proved that they're a dominant team in the Eastern Conference.
The Patriots and the Colts, 10-0, the Patriots leading. A vitally important game, and of course we'll be watching throughout the afternoon the other action, as this is a very interesting NFC or AFC Eastern race. There's no question about that. Great day for football. It's been an enjoyable game for the New England fans. Hopefully the Colts can get it going a little later on here. And that more and more people are watching each and every week, and NFL 80 recently had a feature on a guy that we know very well, Big George Kunz.
I played over him a lot of years, have a lot of respect, and I went through the same type of an operation that George went through, and I know exactly what he's trying to come back from.
Well, he's a great guy, and this feature is coming up right now, a feature from NFL 80 that you folks in Baltimore, I'm sure, will enjoy. It starts off with him being involved and headed out training camp on the bus right there. Here's our feature on George Kunz of Baltimore.
This is a day I look forward to. I have no fear of this day at all. I'm here to see exactly what the situation requires and what I can contribute. And if I can contribute, and I'm able to, as judged by people other than myself, then I'm going to see exactly what happens. This is a great day. It's like I feel like a rookie in a way.
Hey, Dick. How are you? Nice to see you.
let it go?
I didn't have any. That was another guy. Chuck George Carey. How are you? If you have been around 10 years, you cannot doubt your skill because you've been there. If I had any doubt about my desire, I wouldn't be here today. So naturally, you're narrowing it down to doubts about your body. But the doubt physically is not of and by itself a doubt created by the operation I had September 29th of 1978.
Blood pressure's perfect. One thing is perfect. All right, George, we're going to check your quadriceps right here. Grab a hold up there, grab your right ankle, and bring your heel to your butt. Well, we've got a perfect score here, George. Good. Let's get the left. And we've got about an inch difference right here, so you have to work on your left quadricep. Okay, let's lay down flat here. Put both heels on my toes. Knees to the floor. We're checking the hamstrings right here, back here in your lower back. Let's go out and reach for a number now. All the way out here. So you've got a -3, so you've got to work on your hamstrings and lower back. Now we want you to come out here, and we want you to bring both knees right over your back to check your lower back flexibility.
Okay, this is going to be a toughie.
All the way over. George has to work on his lower back flexibility. He's got about 9 inches to go.
Well, the operation is all right as far as his back goes. It looks all right. The bones have fused well. There's still a little risk on our part. I would say this, and I'm not trying to pull any punches, if we had received him in a trade, we would have to look at that back a little bit more serious than what we have looked at. But we know George, we know his personality, and we feel that the risk is very minimal.
Okay, terrific.
He had so much going for himself. He's been in business, he's had the television, that sometimes you might have a tendency at that point to become a businessman or a talent in television and forget about football, forget about the sacrifices and the pains that you have to make to play this game. You can't go through the motions or wing it in this sport because there's too much physical sacrifice.
And there's money in football, especially after you've played 10, 11 years and have built up a good salary base. But that isn't the only reason. There's a challenge there. There's something that you want to see. You want to see exactly what the pieces are like after they've fallen apart.
Oh, jeez. You got it. Yeah, I think you found it. Good.
Okay.
The trials and tribulations there of George Kunz, a very wonderful fella. He's not been in action today because he's had a bunch of other injuries this season.
He certainly has. He broke his thumb in the shower or something we'd heard, but I think he's going to come back and play fine for the Baltimore Colts.
The Colts right now are down 10-0 here at halftime in Foxborough as the Patriots have the lead. And coming up in just a few moments, we'll bring you up to date on all of the scores from around the National Football League.
Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen, NBC Sports, with an invitation to join us on Thanksgiving Day.
Dick, some of our friends won't be around on Thanksgiving, but we'll sure be at Texas Stadium.
That'll be for the Dallas Cowboys, Seattle Seahawks, 3:30 Eastern Time, right here on NBC.
The Oakland-Philadelphia game is in the second quarter, and they are scoreless. And in the action between Buffalo and Pittsburgh, Buffalo playing at home, a sellout crowd. Joe Ferguson to Jerry Butler, a 10-yard pass has put them up with 6:08 left in the second quarter. The Jets now 21-0 over Houston. How about that? Kevin Long has scored from 1 yard out, so did Richard Todd, and there was an interception of a Ken Stabler pass for 82 yards by Ken Schroy, and 21-0, as that's some surprise. Here's Cleveland now leading Cincinnati. They were down early 7-0, but a couple of Brian Sipe touchdowns, Sipe to Reggie Rucker for 16 and to Calvin Hill for 5, and they're just about at, they in fact are now at halftime. In the other action this afternoon, Atlanta 14, Chicago 0. Andrews has just scored from 4 yards out, and that put Atlanta up 14-10. They have 3:08 left to play in the second quarter. In the Tampa Bay-Detroit action, look at Detroit come back. They were down 10-0. Ray Williams scored from 11 yards out, and then Billy Sims romped for 22 yards out. And with 4:02 left in the second quarter, Detroit is leading Tampa Bay 14-10 at halftime. The Kansas City-St. Louis game is just underway. Neil O'Donohue, a 40-yard field goal. O'Donohue used to kick for Tampa Bay, and it's 3-0 St. Louis. Well, that brings you up to date on the scores that we have. And here in Foxborough, the Patriots lead 10-0. This 1980 National Football League game is brought to you by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. By Plymouth, who invite you to drive the front-wheel drive Plymouth Reliant K, the American way to beat the pump. And by Celotex, where glass fiber asphalt roofing shingles are the newest of our 10,000 building products. And by Allstate Insurance Companies. You're in good hands with Allstate. National Football League action will continue with the second half kickoff here in Foxborough. The score, the Patriots 10 and the Baltimore Colts nothing. Here's the only touchdown of the first half.
Here they are deep in territory. Don Calhoun's takes right here. Vegas Ferguson made an excellent block there and came back on the outside. And of course, he's a real horse as we've followed him over the years. Drove in there, and boy, as he watched it bang that ball down there. Ron Earhart doesn't show very much emotion, though.
Well, he's happy. Calhoun getting his 7th touchdown. It came with 56 seconds remaining in the first quarter. The point after was good by Smith, 7-0, and then the field goal by Smith in the second quarter. 10-0 here at halftime. Give you an idea of the statistical picture on this game.
Well, the Baltimore Colts certainly aren't on the top of the statistics as it's 205 yards to 74 yards. 107 yards passing and only 20 yards passing for the Baltimore Colts. Of course, the rushing is 98 to 54. Time of possession has really not been a factor as Baltimore has not been able to really sustain a lot of drives. And coming in with Greg Landry, but in fairness to Greg Landry, I thought that last year he played his finest year that I've seen him play. He was in a rough situation with the Baltimore Colts, and he really did well.
He had a couple of balls that were dropped in that second quarter that certainly could have been caught. There is Greg Landry, who played at Massachusetts in his 13th year. Jones is throwing, loosening up. We've been told that he possibly will be coming back. There's Matt Cavanaugh, third-year man from Pittsburgh. 61.9% of his passes this season have been complete. Grogan just said he couldn't go. He had only practiced one day, and the quarterbacks have played a very big part in the story here so far. Last week, the Patriots lost to the Rams here 17-14, 3 fumbles, good defense by them. And Baltimore beat Detroit 10-9 in the Silverdome. With Dave Rowe, this is Jay Randolph. Second half getting set to go. Horace Ivory. And you see the statistic right there. You folks in Baltimore will remember that, I'll tell you. Downfield, Horace Ivory at the 10, in trouble, and goes down as he retreated back along the 8-yard line. Ed Smith, the linebacker, number 52, coming in to make the play. And the Baltimore Colts set to go on offense.
That coverage by Ed Smith that time is very rarely will you catch on a kickoff, catch a running back inside the 10-yard line.
I said the Colts ready to go on offense. I meant the Patriots, and there is their offensive alignment with the receivers and, of course, the line anchored by the dentist, Dr. Bill Lenkaitis. He's the senior man up there. Ferguson and Calhoun in the backfield. Vegas Ferguson out over the 20. First down at the 22-yard line. Ferguson has picked his team up often this afternoon. Barry Krause, 55 on the tackle, a 15-yard run.
Vegas Ferguson, as we said earlier, has certainly been a real asset to the New England Patriots this year. He's got great vision as he cuts back here and knows what to do when he gets out in the open field. And he certainly has been one of the key factors in their controlling the ball in the first half, Jay.
First down at the 23-yard line. Little cross buck to Ferguson. And not much there. That's Ed Simonini, along with 88 Herb Orbis stalling him.
Old Simo again. He's in most all the plays on the defense. You can tell it here. You can see as he watches plays, he's not fooled by the counter action right there and steps right up around, and there he is, right in the hole. And like I said, he plays like he's 6'7".
He was credited with 16 tackles in the first New England game and in last week's Detroit win, and 14 against St. Louis, 13 at Houston, and against Cleveland. He's some kind of tough. No gain on the play, 2nd down and 10. Calhoun over the 30 to the 31-yard line. And Barry Krause 55 and Bruce Laird 40 on the tackle. The Baltimore Colts on defense. And here's the way they stack up starting this second half. Cook, Barnes, Orbis, and Ozdowski. Shiver, Simonini, and Woods. Shiver with that dislocated bone and a cast on the left side. Hatchett, Brazil, Laird, and Glasgow in the secondary. Opening moments of the third quarter.
I was handed a reminder during halftime on that play that we talked about Kavanaugh perhaps being down, that he has to be in the grasp of the defensive player, and that's why I'm not an official. I'm up here announcing, and that's right.
Reverse to Jackson, and he got maybe enough for the first down. Looks like he did. Barry Krause 55 and Ed Simonini 56. They diagnosed that play well, but it looks like he got enough for the first down.
This is the way you see it as a defensive player. See all the bodies. It looks a lot different as in your perspective up here. You see the cross action there with Harold Jackson going around on the wide reverse from the receiver position. It really does look a lot different in perspective from being down on the ground.
Harold Jackson and Carlos Pennywell, 88 in there now. Hand off to Vegas Ferguson. We've checked. Pennywell is in the game, number 88, but there is no injury to Stanley Morgan, we're told, number 86. Tackle made there by Mike Barnes. Place it down at the 36-yard line. Nothing in the third quarter with 11:40 to play. The Patriots leading the Colts. Kavanaugh going long for Harold Jackson. Out of bounds. Again, he was working against the number 1 draft choice from Texas, the rookie Derek Hatchett.
I say Derek Hatchett is excellent man-on-man coverage. I haven't seen too much running plays that where he's had to come up and force, but he certainly can run step for step with Harold Jackson.
There's Hatchett. Strong on the man-to-man play, has great speed. New England is 6 out of 9 in third down conversion success. Simonini has come out. Greg Fields is in, 79. They put an extra defensive back in there. They're in the prevent defense on third down and 9. Johnson and Foreman are now in the backfield. They're in the shotgun. Kavanaugh stepping up, going long downfield for Russ Francis, and it is almost intercepted. Francis was double teamed down there, and it was Glasgow who almost picked it off after Laird had tapped it up.
Matt Kavanaugh really laid up a lame duck on that one. It slipped off coming off his hand, and those are the kind that in practice you just go quack, quack, quack. Nesby Glasgow almost came up with it also. That's a heads-up alert play by him to play in the backfield like that.
Glasgow is a talented athlete. He's back to receive the punt from Mike Hubach. As the Colts defense has done a job again. A line drive spiral. Glasgow back at the 20, 25, at the 30, out to the 35, 36-yard line. Comes Nesby Glasgow. Bill Matthews, 53 for the Patriots on the tackle, a 44-yard punt. We'll be back with more action. The Patriots leading Baltimore 10-0. Bert Jones back in the game. He's 2 out of 5 for 24 yards. There's the offense. Carr, Butler, and McCall. Griffin, Pratt, Mendenhall, Huff, and Hart. First down from the 36-yard line for Baltimore. Jones pitches it back. Dickey bumped out of bounds right along the line of scrimmage. Mike Hawkins, number 59, did a good job over there. This wasn't much there for Curtis Dickey.
That's one great advantage of the 34 defense. 3 defensive linemen, 4 linebackers. You get great pursuit to the ball. You've got 4 speed burners back there at linebackers. They can really get to the ball in a hurry.
Dickey has 42 yards on 10 carries this afternoon. Loss of about half a yard on the play. Second down. Jones ready to throw. Blitzed. The throw intercepted. Penalty marker down. Coming with it is Rod Schote for a touchdown. If it stands, there is a penalty marker down. Rod Schote. I think it's going to be holding. A 42-yard return. Touchdown. Offensive holding against Baltimore. Well, Jones coming back in. Gave up the interception for the touchdown to Rod Schote. Schote, who's been bothered by a shoulder injury, pinched nerve, having his best year. Number 2 draft pick from Oklahoma. Second interception of the season and a big touchdown here.
Well, he certainly shouldn't have thrown that ball, Jay.
He was trying to get it to Dickey, but he had no chance.
He was under a lot of pressure that time. There was a lot of pressure coming up the line on him that time. He just tried to get off rather than take the sack.
John Smith out of the hole to Kavanaugh. It's good. And the Patriots are up 17-0. And we'll look at it again, Dave Rowe.
This is Jeff Hart, number 68 here against Tony McGee. Tony McGee takes an inside charge, and the guard went away, and that just didn't help Jeff at all. Jeff had no chance on that play to block, and of course Burt was pressured and came down inside.
Schote took it in. The Patriots 17, the Colts nothing. That man just returned a touchdown, an interception for a touchdown, the first time it's happened this season for the Patriots. The kickoff comes down to Nesby Glasgow over the 20-25, and he gets it out to the 28-yard line. Glasgow was stopped by Bob Golick, number 51.
In this replay of Jeff Hart here, Jeff really doesn't have a chance as Tony McGee can take inside. I don't know where the guard went, but there was no way he can block that man on that time. He's got 5 or 6 yards, and he just ran well. It was amazing that he even stayed with him as long as he did. Obviously, they pulled out the guard. Burt Jones was under tremendous pressure on the out pass, and there he was.
And Greg Landry is back in at quarterback. That's Marvin Sims, the big rookie from Clemson, battling out over the 30-yard line. John Zamberlin, number 54, on the tackle.
The fact that Greg Landry's back in there may have some bearing upon Burt Jones' shoulder. Obviously, that pass wasn't thrown with the same zip that Burt Jones throws. And seeing the fact that he cannot throw, Burt will be the first one to take himself out in that situation.
That ball was behind the intended receiver, Dickey. He didn't lead him well, and Landry 2 for 4 in the game, 14 yards. The Patriots have outscored their opponents in the third quarter this season, 86-27. Second down and 6 for the Colts. Landry, out it comes. Dickey up the middle, over the 45 to the 48-yard line. And it looks to me, Dave, like that pass is there anytime they want to throw it out over the middle. John Zamberlin, the inside linebacker, 54 on the tackle, a pickup of 16 yards.
Well, they certainly want to utilize Curtis Dickey's speed. That takes an awful lot of pressure off your offensive line now. The offensive line in a situation you're down 17-0 has got to protect twice as hard because a run's not going to hurt you. They're coming off the ball, just flying off the ball, irregardless of what the situation is. They're pass rushing.
Wide receivers both set left. Landry over the middle again. The ball is dropped by Marvin Sims. He took a shot from Nelson. Well, I tell you, when Nelson hits you, you know he's left the calling card.
Well, Steve Nelson, of course, is their defensive leader, both in statistics and on the field. As he throws this ball here, Steve Nelson's in perfect position as the ball comes across, and he really didn't look like he hit him with all his force as much as he just kind of flicked into him. But, boy, I'll tell you, it looked like he stepped on a hand grenade there.
He'd already dropped the ball, though.
Yes,
Stanley Morgan, we're told, has an injury. That's why Carlos Pennywell is in there. A toe problem. Whether Morgan will play anymore today, we've not been told. There's a pass to the far sideline to Joe Washington. Washington still going and all the way down to the 29-yard line. First down. Raymond Claiborne on the play. A pickup of 23 that time for Joe Washington. Landry at the controls now.
This is the way that Greg Landry last year used Joe Washington so effectively, because Joe's got super moves right here. You can see he just fakes that linebacker out by giving that little stutter step back. He's down the sideline, gets out of bounds, and 20 yards is no slouch of a pickup on a pass.
First down at the 29-yard line. The Colts on the move with Landry quarterbacking them. That's Washington. Penalty marker down, and he gets thrown back at the 35-yard line by Mike Hawkins. Hawkins, number 59. Bert Jones has taken his pads off, and Bert is out of this game for the rest of the day.
Bert is a tremendous competitor. If there was any way that he could stay in that ball game, he would stay in. Obviously, it was a more severe injury than what he initially showed us. I believe it was an injury back to that shoulder area.
Illegal formation by the Colts at that last time. They had a tackle uncovered. Maybe you'd like to explain what that is.
I always wanted to get in that position so I could go out for a pass.
Okay, the indication was that it was going to be refused. The flag is still on the field of play, though, as we get another look at Bert Jones over there.
One good thing about the fact that Bert was able to come in and throw a pass, when he was injured prior to this year, he was unable even to lift up a ball hardly, so evidently it's just maybe a slight strain in the air, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for.
I think Colt fans would have been happy if he hadn't come in and thrown the pass after what happened. Second down and 11. Washington rolling right, got some good blocking, and is down inside the 25-yard line. Steve Nelson, 57. Ray Claiborne, 26, there to make the play.
Very rarely in a game do you see two middle linebackers that have as much mobility as the two that we have here. Steve Nelson, number 57. You can see he's right out. He's almost leading the play as he comes along here. Glides along and, of course, makes the decision to come around the outside and tackles Joe Washington. A real leader for the New England Patriots.
Otis Anderson has just scored from 2 yards out. They're still in the first period at Bush Memorial Stadium. 10-0 St. Louis. Don McCauley in the lineup. 3rd and 4 for Baltimore. Landry throwing. Got a man. Washington touchdown.
Baltimore had to score in this situation, Jay, if they want to get back in this ball game, and they certainly did come through. Greg Landry, the seasoned veteran, threw that ball in there. 23-yard touchdown pass. He beat the linebacker back there. Joe Washington, 3rd touchdown of the season. He got behind Mike Hawkins. Landry here sets up, and he's going with Joe Washington all the way. Joe Washington one-on-one with a linebacker. There's no way a linebacker is going to stay with Joe Washington with the speed he has. And this is going to put the Baltimore Colts back in this ball game. They needed a score, and they needed it desperately.
Well, that interception by Schote looms large now. 5 catches, 68 yards, and 1 touchdown for Washington. Steve Mickemeyer with Greg Landry holding. It is up, and it is good. The Baltimore Colts get on the board with 8:19 remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Patriots 17, the Colts 7.
See the sparks fly Thanksgiving Day as Jim Zorn, Steve Largent, and the high-flying Seattle Seahawks take on Danny White, Preston Pearson, and the hard-charging Dallas Cowboys. Get that down-home feeling with Turkey and Texas football. Thursday, November 27th on NBC.
Ready for the kickoff. Steve Mickemeyer, the 6-year man from Maryland. Downfield, there's Horace Ivory. Ivory looking and taking now at the 2, at the 10, the 15. He's in trouble coming out of there. Look out, nowhere to go down at the 15-yard line. Kim Anderson, the cornerback, number 26 on the specialty unit downfield to make the tackle.
But what a kick by Steve Mickemeyer on that high, long right to the goal line.
Yeah, that's a pretty good piece of defensive work. Let's take a look at this touchdown a moment ago. Landry, 23 yards to Washington.
Now, you know, as little Joe crosses this goal line right here, I know a fellow back in Baltimore named Larry Moody who's really excited because he thinks he's the #1 fan of the Baltimore Colts.
There's the drive, 71 yards and 7 plays. Cavanaugh 6 out of 13, 116 yards. Giving to Ferguson. And Vegas Ferguson crawling over the 15, undercut by Ed Simonetti, number 56, and Herb Orvis, 88, popping down on him.
It's really important this time that the Baltimore Colts come out here. Their offense is driven down the field and scored under a new quarterback, Greg Landry. They've got renewed confidence. It's important right now, and every one of those 11 men in that huddle right there are saying we've got to stop them right now, get the ball back for our offense to get back in this ball game.
Patriots coming off a couple of losses. The Colts winning last week in Detroit. Kavanaugh threw it out, and it was dropped by Vegas Ferguson. Ferguson had caught 17 passes for 132 yards coming into today's game. You got to look there at Fred Cook, big number 72, and Vegas Ferguson. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New England Patriots and the NFL is prohibited.
As you were pointing to number 72, Fred Cook, what name would you think nickname Fred Cook would have? Of course, the Cookie Monster.
The Cookie Monster, all right.
He's a great guy.
3rd and 9 at the 17. Down the middle, he's got his man. Morgan couldn't quite get there. Well, we had been told that Morgan had a toe problem, and apparently they patched him up. Pennywell had been in there. Kavanaugh trying to go for the big one.
He can run twice as fast as I can with a toe problem, and I don't have any problems.
Punting time for the Patriots.
Baltimore did what they said they had to do, Jay. They stopped them inside the 20-yard line. They're going to get the ball back in good field position.
The rookie from Kansas, Hubach. Downfield, Nesby Glasgow. A poor kick. And at the 45, it is downed. That kick, not quite what Hubach wanted. Bill Matthews down to make contact. A 28-yard punt. Back with more from Foxborough in a Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. We hope it'll be a great time at your house. 3:30 Eastern Time. Celebrate Thanksgiving with NFL 80 and your host, Brian Gumbel. You bring you an inside look at the day's game and a special look at the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Exciting NFL action. The Cowboys and the Seahawks. NFL 80, of course, will start it all off. 3:30 Eastern Time, Thanksgiving Day on NBC. Pitchback comes to Dickey, and he moves down to the 37-yard line, rolling to the right side. They've had good luck over that right side, Dave. Claiborne made the stop, number 26. Cleveland now on top of Cincinnati, 21-7 in the third quarter. Brian Sipe has just thrown his third touchdown pass. He's thrown one to Rucker, one to Hill, and now one to Pruitt. Dickey is out of the lineup for Baltimore. He has 48 yards on 11 carries. It's Washington and Sims in the backfield. 2nd down, 4. Complete to the far sideline to Roger Carr. Claiborne on the coverage. There's Carr. Coming into today's game, he ranks 7th in the AFC with 42 catches. Buffalo 14, Pittsburgh 10. They're in the third quarter, and I'll bet old Rich Stadium in Orchard Park, New York is rocking this afternoon.
It certainly is. As you said, they are having success over there on the right side, but that's a lot due to the fact that the Patriots lost this past week Mel Lunsford, who played there for 8 or 9 years.
First down at the 32-yard line. Offside, New England, it looked like, and the give to Sims, the big guy. Look at him go. This fella looks like a great prospect to me. I've really been impressed with him. He's so strong. Fox, the safety man, finally brought him down. This guy is 6'4", about 240, and is some kind of performer. He's tough.
Offside, defense, 85, decline.
Offside against Julius Adams.
See Julius accounts. Greg's got great voice inflection there, drawing Julius offsides. And wouldn't you hate to have your name and number on TV when you're offsides? I always hated that when I jumped offsides, and I did a lot. Because
I know the players were not real enthralled when the umpires, when we mic'd the referees.
I always thought they were going on 2, and they decided to go on 3.
2nd down and 1. Dickey and Sims in the backfield. The give to Dickey, first down and more, all the way down to the 17-yard line. And again, over the right side, it was Rick Sanford, the safety man, number 25, who made the tackle. The Colts controlling this ball game now. 6:40 left in the third quarter. The Patriots are leading 17-7, but the Colts on the move.
Jeff Hart's getting great run block against Richard Bishop there. Richard Bishop, of course, was the holdout in preseason. They lost with the loss of Mel Lunsford. He's had to come in. He's been a spot player before, coming in and filling in for Mel. But Jeff Hart's really doing a job over that right side today.
Greg Landry, quarterbacking. Looks like a busted play, maybe. He gets it out to Dickey, and he goes down. I don't know whether that was a play-action fake. If it was, it didn't fool anybody, or whether it was a busted play. Dick Bishop, 64, making the tackle.
Well, obviously, it was a broken play because Greg Landry would never throw to I don't believe he would ever throw to Curtis Dickey out in the flat like that.
That was my feeling, too.
But what do you do with the ball if you don't give it to Curtis Dickey? That means Greg Landry's got to run with the ball because your linemen are downfield. He's got to get the ball to Curtis Dickey. Also, because Bert Jones is on the sideline, if Greg Landry decides to run, they could be in trouble with an injury to him.
Wonder who would play quarterback.
John McCauley.
There you go. 5.5 to play. Third quarter. Landry way over the head of Joe Washington. Looked like he was throwing it away. Let's pause briefly now for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
Your Colts station in Baltimore, WBAL-TV, Channel 11.
Third down and 17. Jay Randolph along with Dave Rowe, Foxborough. Here in New England, where the Patriots have the lead 17-7 with 5:26 left to go in the third quarter. Roger Carr going out wide to the right. The third down conversion statistics. McCauley and Washington in the backfield. Landry straight back. Sets up. Over the middle. Got Joe Washington down to the 20. And he tried to break it outside and couldn't. Hawkins, 59, making the tackle. And the Patriot defense doing quite a job. And we'll get Steve Mickemeyer coming on to attempt the field goal.
An interesting statistic about Steve Mickemeyer as he comes in here for the field goal. He's made 10 of 18, but 7 of those misses that he's had have been over 44 yards. And in all fairness to Steve, the statistic doesn't show that he is a good field goal kicker.
This is going to be about a 40-yarder. Greg Landry will hold. 40-yard field goal attempt by Steve Mickemeyer. Low and wide to the left. He didn't get the foot into it. A swift kick. He just didn't get it. Never had a chance. 4:36 remaining, third quarter. Timeout here at Foxborough. The Patriots continue to lead it. 4:36 remaining, third quarter. Timeout here at Foxborough. The Patriots continue to lead it 17-7. An end zone view of Schaefer Stadium, Foxborough, Massachusetts. Built quickly and rather cheaply, and what a wonderful facility it is. First and 10 for New England. Ball on the 22-yard line. Cavanaugh 6 out of 15, but 0 for 4 in the second half. Cavanaugh over the middle, and what a catch by Calhoun. Man, oh man, he got socked by Simonini but held on.
He certainly did. You know, that was a real matchup there. Ed Simonini coming across there and hitting Don Calhoun. You can see Simonini as he drops back here. He's just trying to get depth there in a zone defense there here. And Cavanaugh swings out of the backfield, and boy, I'll tell you, Simonini reads it right there, and he's coming up, and boom, there's the hit.
One more step by Simonini, and it could have been a little different situation. 2nd and 5 from the 27. Getting the call is Calhoun. He breaks out over the 30, 35-yard line. Good effort by Don Calhoun. There's Big Glasgow making the tackle. A first down for the Patriots at the 35. Chicago. Vince Evans scoring from 1 yard out. 5:11 left in the third quarter. The Bears lead it 17-14. Green Bay 10, Minnesota 3. A 24-yard field goal by Bernie. They're in the second period. Patriots. Calhoun with 51 yards on 11 carries. Ferguson 55 on 11 carries. And that's Vegas Ferguson out over the 40 to the 43, and they're busting out some big chunks right now. Fred Cook 72 on the tackle.
They certainly are. If they can control the ball in the game on the ground, that's going to hurt the Baltimore Colts. But I'll say this, there are some great matchups on that line. If you take Mike Ostowski and Dwight Wheeler and Herb Orvis and John Hanna, Sam Adams and Mike Barnes, and of course Fred Cook against Shelby Jordan, you've got some great football matchups right there.
2:40 to go. Third quarter. Patriots leading 17-7. Kavanaugh giving it to Calhoun, and there he goes, all the way down to the 45-yard line. Nesby, Glasgow, the free safety on the tackle, and Wheeler and Hanna and Lenkaitis and Adams and Jordan are solid, doing a job up front.
Obviously, Baltimore's a little bit disheartened after they came down and didn't score last time. Their defense came out and stopped the Patriots inside the 20-yard line. They got the ball back in good field position, but are unable to capitalize. Emotionally, that's a big play right there.
Rolling out, Kavanaugh at the 40, out of bounds. Take a look at the standings again. We've discussed along the way what this game means. Buffalo playing Pittsburgh, leading that game, but it's still very much up for grabs. 14-10 was the last score. Buffalo leading it. New England 7-4, Baltimore 6-5. Oh, this is really an important game. It's kind of a two-game swing when you're going head-to-head like that.
Very true. Compared to what would happen in Pittsburgh if Buffalo is to lose, this could be a very pivotal game as far as who's going to make the playoffs in the AFC East.
1:50 to play in the third quarter. Second down and 4 at the 39. Calhoun again, and short of the first down. Ed Simonini gets his number called one more time.
Simo's had one game versus Pittsburgh. He had 17 tackles against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's quite a tribute for anybody.
Simonini getting up a little slowly there. He's all right, though.
Well, he doesn't have to get up very far. That's it.
Well, he is a solid, tough guy. He's going off now, and they put the prevent defense in there, the extra backs. Third down and 4 at the 39. Shotgun again for New England. Oh, look here. Calhoun, first down at the 30. Down to the 20. A delay out of the shotgun. A little shovel underneath. Pickup of 21 yards. I like that.
Certainly was effective as the Baltimore Colts. They were thinking pass all the way, trying to get that rush. Kavanaugh right here, everyone thinks he's going to pass the ball. He delays and hands from back underneath, as Kenny Anderson used to do for Cincinnati. And, of course, Calhoun's broken up through the secondary there. We see this is a heck of a hit right here. I'd hate to come up as a defensive secondary man right there and try to hit him.
There's Big Glasgow and Kim Anderson. Calhoun now 86 yards, 14 carries. Tutupu, number 30, is in there now with Vegas Ferguson. That's Ferguson. And Ferguson getting to the 18-yard line, spun out of bounds by Simonini and Laird, 56 and 40. Well, we've talked about the importance of this game. And let's look at the games remaining, because there's some important situations there. The Colts have Buffalo, of course, in the conference, and then are at Cincinnati, Miami, Kansas City to finish things up. Now, New England is at San Francisco and at Miami. And then they have Buffalo here and are at New Orleans. Looking on paper, you'd have to say the Patriots have a little bit easier schedule. 2nd and 9 at the 18-yard line. Play action fake. Kavanaugh stepping up, throwing. Oh, he overthrew the tight end, Francis, down at the 12-yard line. Pretty good pressure by Sanders Shiver there against Francis. We've got a quarterback view. Our director, Andy Rosenberg, bringing you the sights and sounds of the NFL today.
You can imagine this is what Kavanaugh is looking at as he turns here and faces the pressure from Mike Barnes, 63 from the outside. But watch the shot right here by 54 as he comes in your picture right there, Russ Francis. Boom. And Colonel just stands over top of him, and Russ just hops up and walks back to huddle. There's who you mold every tight end after in the National Football League. Russ Francis got all the gifts that you could want.
He's a horse. The shotgun again, 3rd and 9 at the 18. Kavanaugh standing in there, throwing to the far side. At the last second over there, Ricky Jones, one of the extra linebackers, just tipped it away from Andy Johnson, the intended receiver. And we're going to get a look at John Smith now for a field goal try.
They say this is how you meet a cheerleader right here at 51. He goes out and he grabs his. He picks out the one he wanted.
I don't think she knew he was coming. Field goal attempt will come from the 26, a 36-yarder. Kavanaugh will hold. Smith is 8 for 10 on field goals of 30 to 39 yards this season. John Smith has it on the way, and it is good. As the third period comes to an end. The end of the third quarter. 20-7, the Patriots over the Colts. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Jay Randolph along with Dave Rowe, 100 points on the year now for Smith, the top kick scorer.
Certainly has had an excellent year, and he's been very, very accurate in close move.
And we're underway as the kick comes down to Nesby Glasgow. He's up over the 20 to the 22. Fumble! Picked up! Penalty marker down! Going in for the score possibly was Rick Sanford, but now let's see. They may be bringing it back. There's a penalty marker at the 21. Glasgow fumbled. Sanford picked it up. Flipping. Touchdown. Flipping was the call. It's a touchdown for the Patriots. And boy, that is a big, big play. Earlier, Schultz interception for the touchdown. And now this return for a touchdown at 22 yards. Two very big plays in this second half. Let's watch it again. Nesby Glasgow coming up. Fumbled right there as he was hit. Here comes
Rick Sanford, right on the run.
Was it Tutupu that made the play that knocked the ball loose? It was, number 30. Rick Sanford on the return. Well, Smith will have a chance to get another point right now. This didn't take very long. The Colts stunned on this play. The kick is up. And it is good. 14:49 to play in the game. 27-7. The Patriots lead the Baltimore Colts. Well, as we look at the New England Patriot cheerleaders, we can tell you a penalty has been assessed against the Baltimore Colts of 15 yards. Apparently it occurred for the infraction when the ball was fumbled and Sanford ran it in. So here's the kick from the 50-yard line, and it will not be returned. Dave, the turnovers have been a key factor here. Now we've got a little set two on the field down at the 20-yard line. There we've got Sanford, Tutupu, and the Colts, number 52, Ed Smith. And the officials stepped in and handled it very quickly. Dave, what I was about to say, the turnovers are the key here in this second half. Turnovers, 3 for Baltimore, 2 for New England. Vern Marshall, the line judge, was the peacemaker down there for the officials. There is Mike McCormick, and the turnovers, as we say, have hurt. 2, an interception and a fumble, both returned for touchdowns. Schultz and Sanford.
Well, one of my great coaches, John Madden, told me that in a game there are 4 or 5 plays that determine it, and of course they've gone against Baltimore today. It's been really hurting Baltimore.
A A little delay going off to Dickey. Dickey at the 25, 30, 35, and way out to the 38-yard line. First down. Curtis Dickey, the rookie, having a fine afternoon, picking up 18 yards. Tackle made by Zamberlin along with Fox.
Curtis Dickey certainly does have the speed. As we said earlier, he is the fastest man to ever play in the National Football League with the speed he has. And he gets outside, he knows what to do. You can see Roger Carr trying to get a block there, too, 81.
Dickey has 73 yards on 13 carries. The Patriots with 16 first down. The Colts with 11. Landry, lots of time over the middle. He completes it to Marvin Sims. Sims is tough to bring down. He's at the 43-yard line. Steve Nelson put the clamps on him. Also number 54, John Zamberlin. Philadelphia leading Oakland now. They're in the third quarter. Tony Franklin's 51-yard field goal has broken a scoreless tie in that one. There's that Buffalo score. And Buffalo leading the AFC East and leading Pittsburgh. Cleveland putting it on Cincinnati now, 28-7. Joe Washington goes down. A fine play made by Ray Claiborne. Detroit gets a 33-yard field goal from Murray. And late in the third quarter, Detroit 17-10 over Tampa Bay.
What's so disheartening for the Baltimore Colts is that they've come out and they've played good football today. They haven't gotten the so-called breaks, haven't gone their way, but they have played good football today. They've controlled the ball on offense, they've driven long drives, and they have not been outplayed.
Don McCauley, along with Randy Burke, now in the game. Joe Washington in there also. Oh, it's 3rd and 6. Landry in trouble, rolling out on the run. Got the first down at midfield, still going, and a first down all the way down to the 43-yard line of the Patriots. Nice job by the veteran quarterback. 14-yard pickup. Ray Claiborne popped down on him.
I was kidding with Greg one time when I played with him that he one time ran a 76-yard quarterback sneak and did not score. He told me he got so tired as he was running down, he fell down on the 5-yard line. But he has been very mobile in the past, and he gets the first down here. This might be what Baltimore needs to get back in this football game.
They have the first down at the 43-yard line. We have 11:55 remaining to be played in the game. It's 27-7 the Patriots. To the far sideline and out of bounds at the 35-yard line. It was Roger Carr on the reception and Mike Hayes, number 40, on the tackle.
Yeah, as we look out across the stadium here and see beautiful New England, did you know that the 4 Patriots that took a little tour of New England today were Lyle Blackwood and...
there were 4 Colts, weren't there?
I'm sorry, 4 Colts,
yeah,
right.
I heard a little something about that story. Somebody took a wrong turn to somewhere.
Yeah, Lyle Blackwood and George Kunz, Jeff Hart, and the trainer, John Lopez, took about a 60-mile ride and were about 15 minutes before game time they got there.
Second down and 1. Landry going long, and it is incomplete. Roger Carr had it in his grasp at the 17-yard line, couldn't hold it. Tim Fox back there on the coverage. We've got an isolated view of Roger Carr out of Louisiana Tech, a number 1 draft choice. Maybe he should have caught this ball.
This is a hard pass for Greg Landry to throw. As we can see, they drop in the zone coverage here. He's got to throw over the linebackers, 54 there, and drop it into Roger Carr before the secondary. He leads it in there. Perhaps Roger should have had that catch, but he's had 42 or 43 great ones this year, and he is leading the Colts, and he's on to supposedly a Pro Bowl year because he's going to beat his career best.
Double tight end arrangement, 3rd down and 1. They give it off to Sims, and he's got the first down. I'll tell you, if you need a yard or two, that guy seems to be able to get it. He's strong. Steve King, the right outside linebacker who's playing for Rod Schote. Schote, who intercepted earlier and scored and has had the pinched nerve and the shoulder problem, is just coming back in now. Schote 56, King 52. 11 minutes and 10 seconds remaining to be played. The Patriots 27, the Colts 7. Penalty markers go down. Illegal procedure, Baltimore.
Baltimore that time went from an up stance, quick snap on the play, and evidently they started off a little bit too early. Wade Griffin, the left tackle, who is having an outstanding year. They say he is probably the best offensive lineman as far as coming off last year and doing that much better than he played last year. He's really having a great year, Wade Griffin.
Griffin, number 69, signed as a tight end originally.
Certainly was. You know, the thing about Baltimore that's so interesting is that they're only a couple players away from really being a top ball club, being back in the form of the 70s when they were so successful.
They were 5-11 in '79. 6-5 coming in here today. 1st and 15 after the penalty. Landry steps, throws, completes it out to Reese McCall. McCall hit at the 28-yard line by Steve Nelson, number 57. McCall played at Auburn. Number 1 draft choice in '78.
Making the stop. 2nd down and 6.
Greg really doesn't get this ball. He has to step up and he's off balance, but he's got enough arm to get the ball out to Reese. And as Reese turns, where he could have probably picked up a little bit of yardage, he lost it on the AstroTurf. The turf being the fact that they don't play on AstroTurf in Baltimore. They never practice on it, so it is a different surface for them.
2nd down and 6 at the 28-yard line. Sims and Dickey in the backfield. Dickey at the 25, at the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Baltimore. Great block by Bob Pratt, number 61. 28-yard touchdown jaunt. And Curtis Dickey has his 7th touchdown of the season.
As we said earlier, Robert Pratt, number 61, is perhaps one of the most underrated guards. He, along with Ken Huff, don't get the justice that's really due to them. Robert Pratt is out leading this play, and he's 15 yards downfield in front of Curtis Dickey, and we've already talked about the speed of Curtis Dickey. We can see 61, and Curtis Dickey has just gone over 101 yards, 14 rushes for 101 yards, and that's the first 100-yard rushing game this year for the Baltimore Colts, and New England Patriots have not had one yet.
Steve Mickemeyer puts it through, and boy, those 2 turnovers for touchdowns. Schote and Sanford scoring off interceptions and fumbles are the difference here. 27-14, the Patriots. Steve Mickemeyer ready to kick off. Horace Ivory ready to take it. Here we go. A lot of time left, 10-10 to play. Short kick. Ivory coming up, got the wedge in front of him. He gets to the 20, steps through at the 30, at the 35, the 40, and he almost broke it. Making the play over on the far side. Nesby Glasgow. That's the 2nd time he's saved on a big play.
Certainly is. As is true with a lot of kickoffs when they're real high and short. The offensive wave, the defending wave comes down. They get into a pile and they're right there. And if you just get a seam as he does there, he's off into the secondary. Steve Mickemeyer plays this really well too because he channels him into the sideline, doesn't allow him to cut back upfield, and that perhaps saved about a 75, 80-yard run.
Well, it was a fine return, 32 yards, and they set up shop at the 46, leading 27-14. Vegas Ferguson couldn't get outside that time. Bruce Laird going over, and Laird has given his all this afternoon.
He certainly has. He was injured earlier and has come back, and he is one of the leaders in their secondary.
2nd down and 9 at the 47.
That recent score by Baltimore really gives that emotional lift back to the defense. They just say if we can hold them, perhaps we can get back in this ball game. We're only 2 scores down, and there sure is a lot of time left. 10 minutes is enough time to score several touchdowns.
Coming up after this game, of course, we'll bring you up to date on all the action with the NFL report. 2nd down and 9. Play action. Cavanaugh throwing over the middle, complete. And down goes Don Calhoun, short of a first down right at midfield. Ed Simonini made the play, and we've got an isolated view of this talented linebacker for you coming right here.
As Simo drops back, he's reading run and start. Now he starts getting his drop back into his zone. They're in a zone coverage. And again, he starts to hold up there because he sees Calhoun coming into his picture, comes back up, makes a tackle for about a 5-yard gain. But the important thing about Ed Simonini is that he's continually in the ball game. He knows what's going on all the time.
Well, he's out of the ball game right now. The Colts go to that prevent defense, 3rd and 5, shotgun for New England. This is a big play if the Colts can stop them. Cavanaugh has time. He throws, and it is complete. First down at the 33-yard line. Andy Johnson, the Georgia boy, making the catch. Ricky Jones, 51, the linebacker, made the tackle. 16-yard pickup.
As we watch Andy Johnson come out of the backfield here, probably the hardest coverage for a defensive man to cover is one-on-one with the back as a linebacker. They don't have the cushion that a defensive back has, meaning that the cushion, the distance between them. They have to pick him right up out of the backfield, and he knows where he's going. The defensive linebacker does not, and I'll tell you, it's a real foot race. 16th catch of the season for Johnson, a big one, first down. Cavanaugh, 9 out of 20. Ferguson down to the 28-yard line. The clock running with 8:10 to play in this game. Barry Krause, 55, making the tackle. Patriots leading 27-14. Buffalo 28, Pittsburgh 10. And the Buffalo Bills get a Joe Ferguson to Reuben Gant touchdown. 12 minutes and 23 seconds left in the fourth period now. But Buffalo is leading by 18. 2nd and 6. Up the middle, Calhoun. First down at the 20-yard line. The Patriots now leading 27-14. Controlling this game with 7.5 to go. Penalty marker down. Might have been a late hit there. Referee Pat Haggerty.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 40, defense.
Unsportsmanlike call against Bruce Laird.
That's surprising. Bruce, as he comes up here and fills the hole.
Well, I certainly didn't see anything there except that he bumped into the official.
I certainly don't see anything either. I think that was a very foolish call. I don't think it was very justified either.
Well, obviously there must have been something said or something done that we didn't see. 1st and 10. Ball just outside the 10-yard line. Hand off to Calhoun. Calhoun down near the 5. Got it to the 6-yard line. Bruce Laird making the tackle. Pennywell, as we told you, in there now in place of Stanley Morgan. Morgan bothered a little bit by a toe problem, but he was back in action for a try at a long gainer a little while ago.
I asked the PR director for the New England Patriots as to why the Patriots have not had a 100-yard rusher, and they said because they have 8 running backs. But Don Calhoun has just carried his 16th time for 100 yards.
Cavanaugh covers up in time. Problem on the snap, and you can expect maybe that to happen once or twice with Cavanaugh going this long this afternoon. But Pete Brock is now at center, 58. Brock from Colorado does the snapping. Just never seemed to get it in his grasp.
It looked like Cavanaugh pulled out a little bit early in there. He has to stay in that quarterback position. He pulled out a little bit early.
Here's the pass for a touchdown. Carlos Pennywell. Pennywell's first touchdown of the year, and I think that's only his 4th catch of the season. First time Pennywell's been in a game in about 4 weeks, and he gets the touch. And boy, that puts the icing on the cake a little bit. He beat Larry Brazil, the cornerback.
Again, they did the same thing that we had talked about earlier that was so hard for a defensive man to cover. Pennywell came out, and Brazil was playing the man-to-man, turned to face Pennywell. Cavanaugh loft the ball up, and of course there was no chance for Larry to turn back and see the play.
John Smith, who is now the top scorer in all of football, bad snap. And Cavanaugh didn't want to get hit trying to pick that ball up. Anyway, the extra point goes down the drain, but it's now the 33 score on the board for the Patriots, the 14 for the Colts. That was the third touchdown pass of the season for Kavanaugh, and a big one because it really puts the Patriots in the driver's seat. The time remaining, 6:19. We're going to take a timeout. 33-14, New England. There's the time remaining. John Smith, who's just missed his first extra point of the year, wasn't his fault, the bad snap. Smith does not get charged with an attempt on that play. Nesby Glasgow over the 27 to the 29-yard line. And Steve King on the tackle, number 52. Next Saturday at 4 Eastern Time. Some of America's best gymnasts. There's powerlifting, the final round action of the Legends of Bowling, all next Saturday on NBC Sports World. The Colts will operate from their own 29-yard line with 6:09 remaining. They're down 33-14. Greg Landry's done a nice job replacing the injured Burt Jones, but a couple of big turnovers were the key factors for the Patriots. Landry ducks, throws, and gets rid of it. Pretty cool for the old veteran back there. Pratt came in there. Watch this again. He handled the situation rather well.
Well, I thought Greg just flipped him off with his shoulders. You can see the strength of Greg Landry as he just throws off both Richard Bishop and I believe Julius Adams. Look at that.
Are you sure that's
off?
I don't think that's strength there. I think that's
well, he even threw off Wade Griffin there too.
A little bit of cleverness. Oakland 7, Philadelphia 3 in the fourth quarter. Landry 11 out of 17 for 100 yards. The one touchdown. Sets it up. A screen out to Dickey. And Dickey over the 40 to midfield. Still going all the way down to the 38-yard line. First down for Baltimore. And another fine play by Dickey. What a day Curtis Dickey's had. Rod showed on the tackle a 33-yard pickup.
Anytime you can get the ball to a man like Curtis Dickey with the speed he has, he's a danger to go all the way. We can see a little draw play here. Try to draw the action, flips the screen to Curtis Dickey, and you can see he knows what to do. He breaks a couple tackles, which is not really common for a speedster. Usually when they get hit, they go down, but boy, he got downfield in a hurry. Anytime you can get the ball to him, they're going to gain yardage.
Handoff going to Marvin Sims, who is in there playing for Cleveland Franklin, who has been missing much of the afternoon after being shaken up in the first half. Atlanta 21, Chicago 17. Bartkowski to Jenkins, a 42-yard touchdown pass. They have 14 minutes left to play in that game. Here we have 4 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. The Patriots are leading the Colts 33-14, and the Colts facing 2nd and 8 at the 37-yard line of the Patriots. Sims set behind Landry. Landry stepping up, throwing back. Carr at the 27, at the 25, and out of bounds, down at the 22-yard line. Roger Carr, another fine reception. Claiborne ran him out of bounds.
A real feather in the cap of the Baltimore Colts is the fact that they have not had a holding call today, and I don't want to put the jinx on them, but they haven't had a holding call today, and we haven't heard much out of Raymond Hamilton, who leads with 7 or 8 sacks, and Julius Adams. Kenny Mendenhall has really contained himself in there, played very, very well today, as all the offensive linemen have for the Baltimore Colts.
The Colts have hung tough without Jones, and with those 2 big turnovers for touchdowns going against them. First down at the 21. Landry down at the 33-yard line. Tony McGee and Rod Schott, 78 and 56, the 3rd sack for the Patriots against the Colts this afternoon. Here's an unusual look at this play. Watch the bottom of the play.
There's the 2 wide receivers and their moves coming off the line. And there's what Greg Landry sees. You know that's got to hurt right there. I never wanted to be a quarterback, even though I would have liked to have made that salary. I was just an old defensive lineman.
Well, somebody's got to play in those trenches. 2nd and 21. Out to Washington at the 25, at the 20, down to the 19-yard line.
Taken down by Bill Matthews.
Bill Matthews, 53 on the tackle. You're talking about Dickey. He's got 101 yards on 15 carries, 38 yards in passing on 3 catches, 139 yards on the day for Dickey.
He certainly has been productive. Greg Landry took a whale of a shot that time. Again, they're trying to slow down the rush of the New England Patriots, and he's dropping off a lot of screen passes, and he's taking a whale of a shot.
Bert Jones out of the game. There's Ron Earhart. He's kind of a player's coach. 2nd season as the head man here. Players like him.
Yes, they do. Very, very popular.
3rd and 8 on the 19. McCauley's in the lineup for Baltimore. They're blitzing. He got it away. McCauley got to it. They beat the blitz. McCauley out of bounds at the 3-yard line. Oh, they beat the blitz.
That is so typical of Don McCauley right there. He's done that for 10 years coming out of Carolina. He's been the 3rd down play man for the Baltimore Colts for year after year.
Ground level look. Landry does a superb job. There comes Sanford. Beat the blitz. McCauley does a good job getting to it, Dave.
Yes, he does. I'll tell you, on 3rd down, I'd put my money on Don McCauley anytime. He's that type of player. He's continually come up with a 3rd down, whether it be running or passing.
Well, the Colts are knocking on the door with 3 minutes left to play. Mike McCormick. Dickey and Sims in the backfield. That's Sims. The powerful rookie gets inside the 2. Bishop 64, Matthews 53, Zamberlin 54, all there.
As we said earlier, Jay, the Baltimore Colts have not quit. They've come out to play football, and they are playing good football. And they're playing against an excellent football team. This is a whale of a ball game, as we said in the beginning. This is between 2 teams that are in contention to win the Eastern Division, along with Buffalo. And who thought Buffalo today would do that job against Pittsburgh that they're currently doing?
Chuck Knox has done some job, both offensively and defensively, with those Buffalo Bills. That's Dickey. Getting outside, he got in. The Colts, Curtis Dickey scores with 2:17 remaining. Oh boy, they'll take a look at this game for a long, long time and rue those 2 turnovers. The interception, Choate for the touchdown, and then the fumble pickup by Sanford for the touchdown.
2 easy scores that are the difference in this ball game today.
Steve Mickemeyer with Greg Landry to hold. The kick is on the way, and it is good. 2:17 left to play. Patriots 33, Colts 21.
As we watch the surge of the defensive line and the offensive line, Curtis Dickey, with the speed he has, goes wide, and of course in for the score, bringing him up to 33-21. With only 2 minutes and 17 seconds left, Jay, I would think we're going to look forward to an onside kick.
Well, the Patriots are looking for it. They've got everybody up, and there it is, and it is controlled by New England. At the 47-yard line, fine play is made by Don Westbrook. Westbrook held on. There is Westbrook, number 83. He didn't want to let that ball go, did he?
Well, that certainly was a good play. The kick was excellent. It was really down here deep, and the coverage team was right in his face when he caught it.
Westbrook going to stay in the game, number 83. He is a 4-year man, a free agent who originally was a Baltimore draft back in '75. Calhoun to the 45-yard line. Calhoun, you don't say he is. He broke out of the pack and is downfield. Looked like a rat going for the cheese, didn't he? But they're going to bring it back. Timeout as the 2-minute warning is given. Patriots 33, Colts 21. Ron John Fargo Earhart and Mike McCormick. McCormick, a guard in his collegiate days at the University of Kansas. And Ronald Peter Earhart, 48 years old. The two head coaches. Coming up next, the Budweiser NFL Report. 2 minutes remaining to be played in this one. I noticed, Dave, they just adjusted the clock here. We had the 2-minute warning, although the clock now says 2:06. There is a change on the clock. That was not the 2-minute warning, apparently. There was a problem. So we still can look forward to the 2-minute warning, which means we'll probably have a chance to get in another commercial. No, we're not going to do that to you.
Well, it's the first time I've been in 13 years I've seen 2-minute warnings.
Yes, sir. Well, we give you a little extra today.
Well, thank you.
I want to say this about the Colts. They're losing 33-21, but they have really hung tough, and those 2 touchdowns by Schott and Sanford are really the difference here today. 2nd down and 9 for the Patriots. Bootlegging it out comes Kavanaugh at the 40 and out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Kavanaugh doing a nice job. He runs well, and chatting there with his head coach, Ron Earhart. His running ability has stood him in very good stead here today.
Well, he's very, very similar to Steve Grogan in that respect, in that he's very, very mobile. And when Steve Grogan is well, that's what he does. And that puts a tremendous amount of pressure on your secondary, and it puts a tremendous amount of pressure on your defensive lineman. He's got 5 carries, 36 yards, and my math's not bad. That's a little bit over 7 yards a carry.
And he's done some excellent scrambling, too.
Yes, he has.
First down at the 35. Calhoun down to the 33-yard line. Good low-level look to Calhoun as he gets up. Now the clock shows 1:55. And let's see if we're going to get the 2-minute warning now.
Here are some updates. In the 3rd quarter, Atlanta 21, Chicago 17. In the 4th
Apparently we are getting the 2-minute warning right now.
And it's still Buffalo 20.
Total yardage, Baltimore 322 yards, New England 349. Boy, oh boy, there's a day we want you to join us. Thanksgiving Day on NBC, 3:30 Eastern Time, NFL 80. And Dave Stern is producing here today and taking a day off from NFL 80, but he'll be back to bring you a tremendous show with Bryant Gumbel on Thanksgiving Day that'll feature the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders and a very, very special look at the action between the Cowboys and the Seahawks. That's all Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, 3:30 Eastern Time. Down at the 32-yard line, the Patriots have the football.
The Baltimore Colts today, Jay, have proven that they can play with Greg Landry, and that's going to be important, when they assess the injury to Burt Jones.
Yes, indeed. 2nd and 7. Kavanaugh gone all the way for the Patriots. Vegas Ferguson at the 20, the 15, the 10, out of bounds at the 5-yard line. Another exciting romp by Ferguson, 27 yards. Larry Brazil drove him out of bounds.
Well, Vegas Ferguson reminds me more and more of Gale Sayers. Great moves while he's out in the open field. He's got a long stride on that ball.
You said that earlier, and I'll tell you, he does look like a Sayers right here. Look at that move.
That's a tremendous move, and he's a rookie, too. Watch as he goes out of bounds here. Larry Brazil pushes him out of bounds, and watch this.
Uh-oh.
The referee got the hit on that one. All we saw was the bottom of his feet.
Ferguson, 98 yards, 16 carries. 1st and goal to go at the 5 for New England. Ferguson. Tough going. Mike Barnes finally brought him down. And Ferguson really took a shot. Getting up slowly, but he looks to be all right. There is Barnes, who played at Miami. He leads the Colts in sacks with 8 coming into today's game.
Old Mike, he was the NFL's most valuable defensive lineman several years ago. Won the Mack Truck Award for Defensive Player of the Year.
Colts now have called a timeout.
Baltimore is not going to quit in this game, and that's one thing they can be proud of. They played hard. They played well. With a couple breaks here and there, they could have been right in this game and could have possibly won it.
Vegas Ferguson gained 100 yards for the first time in his NFL career, and he's coming out. Horace Ivory coming in, and a fine hand for Vegas. That's a happy bunch of Patriots. I'll bet they'll be watching on Thanksgiving Day. Remember, it's the Seahawks and the Cowboys for you. And NFL 80 will kick it off with Bryant Gumbel at 3:30. Turkey Day action for you on NBC. At the 3-yard line with 1:28 to play. The Patriots leading 33-21. Second down and goal to go. Calhoun, touchdown. That's his 8th of the season, his 2nd of the day. And they're yelling, "Hoon, hoon" again.
That's the sound here in the stadium as you watch all the people wave their hands and that. They're waving those little towels. They haven't been very successful with those towels. Their record is, I believe, 1-3 with those little...
I think the guy that's been successful is the guy selling them.
Yeah, that's right. Baltimore brought everyone up on the line here, and Calhoun saw a crack in the line and made it through. He went on through untouched, but the real thing was that Baltimore was all the way up on the line trying to get penetration. Look, Russ Francis come over there trying to block. There
are the stats on Don Calhoun. Quite a day. A high 5 right there. John Smith, leading scorer in the NFL. Mr. Smith has had a busy day. Well, a very happy gentleman and one of the great people of the National Football League, Billy Sullivan, the president of the New England Patriots. Had a nice chat with Mr. and Mrs. Sullivan this morning, and they're very fine people indeed, and I know they've got to be pleased that after a couple of losses, their club has come back and performed so well before this sellout crowd here today.
Well, Baltimore, New England has gotten an awful lot of bad news about them folding this late in the season, but they're really in contention.
Some of the newspaper guys, I guess, were trying to get off the bandwagon in the last couple of weeks. Not Ron Hobson, of course, who's here in the booth with us with this great crew. George and all the guys here, thanks so much for a tremendous job of support help today. It's always a pleasure to come to Foxborough.
Well, that was a 10-gallon hat.
That was more than a 10-gallon hat. The kickoff, Nesby Glasgow? No, it was Kim Anderson in front of Glasgow at the 15. Fumble! Picked up! Here we go again! Alan Clark goes in! Oh, boy, what a day. A 15-yard return, another turnover, another touchdown. Schoch, Sanford, and Clark all with turnovers and touchdowns on the day. Patriots now 46-21.
Well, the score certainly is no indicativeness of the game. This has been a hard-fought game. This is just a mistake on Kim Anderson's part. He didn't put the ball away, and consequently it cost him 7 points. Those 3 breaks that you mentioned, Jay, in the game is a toss-up game, as we've said all along. It seems like when it rains, it pours in a situation like this.
This is their high point total of the season. It scored 37 against Seattle. Boy, Smith's had a workout. Here we go again. The Englishman from Southampton. Highest point total of the season for the Patriots. 47 on the board with 1:16 to play. scored 51 points here last year against the Baltimore Colts, did the Patriots. Let's see, 51 and 47. That's got to be 98 in 2 games, doesn't it? Even the way I balance my bank book. The Colt returners, Glasgow and Anderson, have each fumbled once, and it's cost a touchdown each time. There are the standings. We'll have the scores coming up for you on the Budweiser NFL Report. Buffalo winning, and the Patriots keeping pace. At the 10-yard line, coming back up with it, Nesby Glasgow to the 27-yard line. That was Kim Anderson, number 26. Bill Matthews, 53 on the tackle. 1:10 left to play. 70 seconds of action left, and 47-21, the Patriots.
That's a lot of points in the ball game.
We've had a workout, haven't we?
We certainly have. It sure hasn't been a boring game. We've had action the whole time. I was in the same stadium one time with the Oakland Raiders when New England beat us 48, I think, to 14, 49 to 14. It was the only game we lost all season, if you can believe that.
All right, here are the Colts again. Remember, they lost Burt Jones early. He tried to come back, threw an interception, and never returned after that. Don McCauley fights his way near the 35. Bill Matthews, 53, on the tackle, and we're inside the minute mark.
I'll tell you one thing, 23 will not fumble the ball. Donnie Mack, I guarantee he won't fumble the ball. He's been very, very steady over a 10-year career.
Here is an interception. Roland James. James at the 47-yard line. His second or third interception of the year. Earlier got a touchdown on an interception earlier in this season. Pass was intended for Joe Washington. It popped off his hands.
Well, like I said, it rains, it pours.
I'll tell you, the Patriots have had it go their way in this second half. The 5th Baltimore turnover. 3 of them have been for touchdowns. Ken Huff making the tackle. The Patriots leading 47-21. 41 seconds remaining to be played. Now they're just going to stack it in there, give it to Kavanaugh. The fans want some more points. Those that are still here, they're not satisfied. Clock running with 30 seconds remaining. We're down to 20 seconds. They're walking off. That's going to do it. Kavanaugh took over, went all the way for Grogan, who couldn't go today because of the sore knees. Calhoun and Glasgow exchanging pleasantries. Kavanaugh up the chute with a big victory today for the Patriots. 47-21 over the Colts. A sellout crowd of more than 61,000 watched it. A New England record, the first time ever. 200-yard rushers in a game. Ferguson 100 yards on 17 carries. Calhoun 106 yards on 19 carries. The New England Patriots winning here go to 8-4 on the year. And Baltimore drops to 6-6. At halftime, it was 10-0, and the floodgates open in the second half. The Patriots coming up with 37 points, and the Colts with 21, and a final 47-21 here in Foxborough. Next week, the Patriots are at San Francisco. The Giants and the 49ers playing today, and the Colts will play Buffalo next Sunday. Tickets still remain for that game. That's at Memorial Stadium, a 2 o'clock start in Baltimore next Sunday. And Pittsburgh and Buffalo going at it today, of course. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Don Ohlmeyer. Coordinating producer, Ted Nathanson. The telecast of today's game has been produced by David Stern. Directed by Andy Rosenberg. We invite you to stay tuned for the Budweiser NFL Report. It's coming. 1,000 wending their way from Foxborough and Schaefer Stadium as nightfall begins to come to us here in New England, where the Patriots have won it 47-21. We'll run down some scores. We can tell you that Pittsburgh has been beaten, so Buffalo remains ahead by 1 game over New England in the AFC East. The fans beginning to pour out of the stadium. Not many are left now. Let's tell you about the Philadelphia-Oakland action. Wilbert Montgomery has scored on a 3-yard run with 2:56 left in the fourth quarter, and it's Philadelphia 10-7 over Oakland. Buffalo 28-13. Now that is a final score. We got word just moments ago. We can update that for you. 28-13, Buffalo has beaten the Steelers. In the Jets-Houston action, 21-14. They have 7:20 left to play in the fourth period. Kenny Stabler to Billy Johnson, a 6-yard pass. Earlier he'd thrown to Barber. But the Jets are still leading at 21-14. They were on top 21-0. In the Cleveland-Cincinnati action, the Browns were down early 7-0, but Sight threw touchdown passes to Rucker, Hill, Pruitt, and Feature, and it is now 31-7. They have 7 minutes left in the third quarter, and the Browns seem to have that one in hand. In the Atlanta-Chicago game, 21-17 Atlanta. Last score there was Bartkowski to Jenkins, 42 yards. They have about 14 minutes left in the fourth quarter there. A final score, Detroit coming back with a big win, 24-10 over Tampa Bay. That is a final. And St. Louis, 10-0 over Kansas City. An O'Donohue field goal and an Anderson run, the scoring in that game. Green Bay 16, Minnesota 13. There in the third quarter. Ted Brown has just scored on a 5-yard run, and that for Minnesota gave them 13. It is Green Bay 16, 8:14 left in the third period. And we're going to show you the touchdown that got things started early in the game. Calhoun, Vegas Ferguson on the block. Calhoun stepping outside, scoring from 2 yards out. That came at 56 seconds left in the first period. It was the first of many scores for the Patriots, who won it here 47-21 over the Colts. We'll be back with more about today's pro football action in just a moment.
Once trailing at Shea, 21-0. The Oilers have come roaring back. Kenny Stabler with his third touchdown pass. This one 68 yards to Rich Gaster. And the Oilers, with 5 minutes to play, have caught the Jets at 21 on this 12th Sunday of the NFL season. This is the Budweiser NFL Report, brought to you by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. Hello again, everyone. Brian Gumbo welcoming you back to our NFL 80 studios in New York. This is Sunday number 12 this NFL season, a Sunday of many surprises. The Steelers, as you know, upset by the Bills. Some might not call it an upset. For a time today, it looked like the Houston Oilers were going to be upset by the New York Jets. But as you just saw, the Oilers have come roaring behind to catch the Jets at 21. That ball game still has about 4.5 minutes left to play. We'll try to get you caught up on just what has happened around the league. Let's take the scores from the top. At Philadelphia, the Eagles now out in front of the Raiders by a score of 10-7, but we understand we are going to be able to check in on that game between the Houston Oilers and the Jets. That ball game, as we just told you, Jets were out in front by a score of 21-0. That's the lead they had at the half, but since then, Stabler has thrown touchdown passes to Barber, Johnson, and Castor. Let's go there live. Marv Albert and Mike Hafner.
And we welcome those of you across the nation who have joined us here at Shea Stadium in New York. Marv Albert along with Mike Hafner. We have 4 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. The New York Jets have jumped in front by the score of 21-0. They had a 21-0 lead going to this fourth quarter, but the Oilers have come right back despite the off performance by Earl Campbell, who has sat out most of this second half. That's Hopper on the reception from Todd. And Hopper with a first down and much more. Bruce Hopper across the 20-yard line. Hopper cutting down across the 10, and Hopper takes it in.
That's what we call timing. The Jets, pending the extra point, have moved ahead of the Oilers by a score of 27-21. Still about 4 minutes left to play in that ball game. Okay, let's go back to the top, get you caught up on what's happening on this 12th Sunday. At Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, the best of the AFC, 8-3 record belonging to the Raiders, and a 6-game winning streak against the Eagles. 10-1 record in the NFC, and a 7-game winning streak are meeting right now. That ball game's in the fourth period. Philadelphia out in front of Oakland by a score of 10-7. And as some of you just saw, the Buffalo Bills extended their record to 9-3. They turned back the Pittsburgh Steelers and halted their winning streak at 3 games. The Bills a winner over the Pittsburgh Steelers by a score of 28-13. And Baltimore against New England. New England still remaining just a game back of the Bills in that AFC East race. The Pats piled it up on the Baltimore Colts today by a score of 47-21. They come away with a win in Foxborough. We'll come back with more scores and we'll get to some highlights after this word from Budweiser. Out at Shea Stadium, there is 4:17 left to play, and the Jets have moved ahead of the Oilers by a score of 28-21. This has been a crazy ball game, just giving you the unexpected all day long. Richard Todd, man, came into this game with the most interceptions in the league, but it was Kenny Stabler who looked like he was playing Todd, because Stabler threw one right into the arms of Kenny Schroy early on in the ball game. Schroy takes it the other way 82 yards down the sideline to put the Jets into a 7-0 lead. Following another Stabler interception, the Jets drove for another score. Todd taking it in from a yard out to make it 14-0. Stabler to the air again. Again, the Jets intercept. Ron Crosby, a linebacker, looking like a Hall of Famer, takes it down to the 2-yard line. A play later, Kevin Long runs it in. And when they broke for intermission, it was the lowly Jets who were ahead of the Oilers by a score of 21-0. But late in the ball game, Stabler, touchdown pass to Mike Barber of 6 yards. After the Oilers got it back, he went the other way for another touchdown pass. It was set up this way. And then after the Oilers had caught him at 21, this was the play you just saw. Richard Todd completing one to Harper right here. Touchdown for the Jets. With the extra point, Jets have moved ahead of the Oilers by a score of 28-21. That little gap there, Stabler had thrown touchdown passes to White Shoes Johnson, also to Rich Casper to make that a 21-all ball game. Cleveland Browns figure to be tied for first place if the Oilers cannot come back against the Jets. Sipe and the Browns jumped all over the Cincinnati Bengals today, 31-7. Forget it if you were expecting them to let down between the Steelers and the Oilers, who they have next week, because